Jackets of Georgia Tech play against conference foe Syracuse for the first time in the Loud House. It's also a special day as the new and improved Carrier Dome is unveiled. Week 3 of ACC football kicks off next with the Orange hosting the Ramblin' Wreck. Today's telecast of ACC football is presented by your local Ford dealer as we come inside the Carrier Dome. And Ernie Davis Legends Field here in upstate New York. It's the 4th all-time meeting between the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets and the Syracuse Orange. And Georgia Tech has won the 3 previous meetings between the 2 programs. It is so great to have you with us for ACC College Football. Tom Wormy along with James Bates. Lindsey Riley will join us in just a moment. We start with Georgia Tech. What a win to begin the season against Florida State for them. For Syracuse, 0-2. Both of those games, James, on the road against top competition in the ACC.
It wasn't supposed to be that way when the schedule first came out, when they had to change things around. Oh, by the way, now you go on the road and you get North Carolina and Pitt, 2 very good teams, 2 very good defenses they went up against. This is a must-win situation for Syracuse. They've got to turn things around right now. First game of a 3-game home stretch in this new and improved Carrier Dome. They got to get things going.
Time for our Hardy Star to watch, and it's a young man at quarterback for Georgia Tech, Jeff Sims, and what an impact he has had early on in the season.
Yeah, from Jacksonville, Florida, just a year ago. Can I get a Duval? Man, he went down to Tallahassee in week 1, the place where he was originally supposed to start his college career, committed to the Knolls out of high school, but he changed it to Georgia Tech. Boy, are they glad that he's in Atlanta. He's been phenomenal, and he's had pieces around him. The offensive line is playing a lot better, and they have a running game. And how much does that help a quarterback when you're scared of that run?
The other side of the ball, the QB, Tommy DeVito for the Syracuse Orange, the junior. When you look at his numbers, you got to check him again because they are not up to his standard. Can he turn it around today?
Well, he absolutely can. He's got the talent. We all know that. We've seen him over the years. You look down at the bottom of your screen there, and to throw 206 passes without an interception, it's not like he doesn't have any accuracy, but those numbers are not what you can do and win with at any school in the ACC. He's got to rely on the offensive line to block a little bit better, and they've got to get a run game going.
All right, James, for more on the new look Carrier Dome, to the 3rd member of our broadcast team, Lindsey Riley.
Thanks so much, Tom. As if home openers aren't exciting enough, the Syracuse Orange will be playing their very first game here in the new and improved Carrier Dome. The stadium underwent $118 million worth of renovations, including a new fixed roof, a center-hung scoreboard, state-of-the-art lighting and sound systems, as well as new Wi-Fi capabilities. I spoke with Coach Babers earlier this week, and he told me that him and his team consider the Carrier Dome a spiritual place, and that's part of the reason why they only first stepped foot in the stadium on Thursday morning. But today will be the first day that they're in full pads out on the field. Now, all that's missing is thousands of screaming fans, which hopefully happens sooner than later. Guys?
Lindsey, thank you so much. And James, as we walked into the building today, it is simply incredible. It's an architectural marvel that this new roof has been installed, refurbishments, new field, the scoreboard, all the things that Lindsey touched upon. This is an amazing place.
Oh, it's beautiful, and you forget the fact that we come in and the weather doesn't get any better. You wish for the fans that they could be out there tailgating and rolling in to enjoy this along with us and along with the team. But like Lindsey said, hopefully before too long that'll be the case.
7,000 square feet on that scoreboard, center hung, 2nd largest in the United States. Time to take a look at today's keys to the games, brought to you by your local Ford dealer with James Bates.
All right. Ain't no half step. You talk about the Juice Crew at Georgia Tech. Jeff Collins loves to talk about his Juice Crew. The original Juice Crew, Big Daddy Kane was in it, and ain't no half step. And they fly around. You watch the first 2 games for the Yellow Jackets, and you turn it on, and you notice that they're all going so fast. Special teams, especially, they cannot slow down. They got to keep the foot on the pedal. For Syracuse, you got to protect. You got to protect no matter who is in at quarterback. 7 sacks in each of the first 2 games. That's not going to get you anywhere. What a momentum killer. It crushes your soul when you can't run the football and when your quarterback's getting sacked like that. So up front, they've got to do a better job. Everybody's got to do their job. The receivers got to hang on to the football. The backs got to help out as well. And let DeVito be that DeVito that we've seen a few times where he's doing his thing and running around, buying some time, making things happen, because he's an efficient guy when you protect him.
So all the health and
safety protocols and guidelines in place here in the Dome as we await both of the teams to come out on this brand new turf field here at Ernie Davis Legends Field. As Lindsay mentioned, well over $100 million of refurbishments and improvements. And she's right, the only thing missing certainly are the fans. But that will have its time. There will be a grand opening to that end for the Orange at some point. I talked to John Wildhack, the athletics director here at Syracuse, and he said, yes, this is a special day. We're going to have another one, though, when we can allow some people to come in and enjoy this new building as far as the fan perspective is concerned for the Syracuse Orange.
Well, Tom, here back home for you, this is my favorite place to come and call a game because of our location, our booth. We're right over, hovering over the field almost. You don't have to kill yourself looking for numbers and names and on your notes. You can just see them almost like on the court at basketball. But also, a big reason why I like it is because we're right smack dab in the middle of it all.
Yes.
You know, usually you're way up above everybody, but you've got fans below, fans above, and you can feel them and kind of enjoy the excitement with them. So that hurts a little bit coming up here to such a special place.
Okay, James, we just got word that there is going to be at least a 20-minute delay, and that came from the ACC, from the league. There is an issue. We're working to get further information, but right now, once again, the ACC has told us we're going to delay kickoff of this game between Syracuse and Georgia Tech for approximately 20 minutes right now. That is what we're being told. This is 2020.
Yeah.
And as I've told many people over and over, there are going to be challenges along the way, certainly. There's going to be scheduling issues. There are going to be health and safety and medical protocols that we must follow to the letter. And so right now, the ACC has elected to delay this game by 20 minutes. That is all we know right now, so the kickoff being pushed back here inside the Carrier Dome.
Well, that's interesting. It's funny because I teach a class back at the University of Florida, and I tell them all the time, hey, get up and tell us a story. Get up and talk about this. Get up and talk about what she just talked about. You got to be on your toes. You've got to be that curveball hitter. And usually I use the example of a rain delay in baseball with no studio support. But here we are in 2020. It's happening in week 3 in college football.
I have told anybody who will listen, until the ball is in the air and we start the game, you have to take everything into consideration and give credit to the league, the schools, all the support staff that's involved. They said, we've got an issue we want to examine. This is all we know right now. And we're going to delay the start of the game for 20 minutes just to make sure that everything is where it should be. That is Jeff Collins, the second-year head coach for Georgia Tech. And we had a chance to talk to him during the course of the week. And this is just to underscore the point of all the measures that everybody is taking at Georgia Tech and at all the schools. They are making sure the health and safety of the student athletes, the coaching staffs, all the support staff that surround these programs, that is the number one priority in the ACC this season.
As it should be. And I don't envy the higher-ups. I don't envy the athletic directors. So you imagine that the scheduling as it is on a normal circumstance, but now to deal with all the scheduling and just everything is in Saturday mornings at 9 a.m. any coach will tell you, hey, you have no idea. You're going to get a report at 9 a.m. because everybody's been tested. All right, this is who you've got today. And how many times have they just, hey, you're without your starting tight end, you're without your starting running back, but like Jeff Collins told us this week, he said, stay ready so you don't have to get ready, which is great, which is perfect. And so many of these teams are going to be thrown so many different things, and you just got to be able to respond, and you got to make sure. And I think both of these coaches have a really good finger on the pulse of what makes their teams tick, and they're really good leaders. And so, hey, that's my leader. What do you need, coach? You know, the old, I'll run through a wall for you. Well, they got to be ready to do whatever because it's truly the next man up this year.
And luckily for us, we have an equally talented production team behind us in the truck and throughout the facility. So what we're going to do now is we're going to step aside for just a moment. We'll try to get more information and updates, but once again, the start of the game between Syracuse and Georgia Tech being delayed inside the Dome for 20 minutes, and we're coming right back. We are on the campus of Syracuse University awaiting the start of Georgia Tech and Syracuse. ACC football on your regional sports network. We are being delayed 20 minutes from the original kickoff, which was just past noon. Tom Wormy, James Bates. We got the word right before the teams were about to come onto the field and we would kick this game off and start it. There is an issue according to the league. They wanted to delay the start of the game to examine things. That is all we know right now. But James, our game being delayed some 20 minutes now, and that was a good 5 to 10 minutes ago. So it is a fluid situation. That is the definition of 2020.
It really is. You got to call a college football game last weekend, Duke and Boston College. I was at home or at my daughter's swim meet, and I was so fired up for him to kick it off and to just watch the team go down and cover a kick. You know, I just wanted just in person. And the Carrier Dome, new and improved, all dressed up and nowhere to go right now anyway. But, you know, as you think, what could it be? And this obviously isn't what happened, but it's just, you know, so many things go through your mind. Obviously, it's something testing related, probably contact related. You know, somebody go out there that shouldn't have been out there.
Right.
And will they play? Will we find out where will they play in?
We wouldn't want to speculate, but there are things out there, and the only thing we can tell you right now definitively is that we got word from the league. This is from the ACC to delay this game by 20 minutes. We were starting about 12:05 or so, just past noon. So we do have an update as to our situation. We're going to check in with our sideline reporter, Lindsay Rowley, for the moment. Lindsay?
Hey guys, like you said, it's 2020. Anything can happen. I did hear from Syracuse that the issue right now is that they are confirming negative COVID tests. They don't have any positive tests, but they are confirming right now that all of the tests that were reported negative are indeed negative. So hopefully get going here soon.
So I guess in the scheme of things, that is positive news about negative tests. So again, our kickoff between Georgia Tech and Syracuse. And by the way, Georgia Tech has not been in this state in 95 years. We hope we will play a football game. We'll have further updates, as Lindsay just told us. They're checking some testing data, and we'll come right back to the Carrier Dome.
Do you have COVID? No. Better not be fooling.
Is universally
noon, about 5 minutes past noon, the ACC and the schools elected to delay the start of the game 20 minutes. We are now about 27 past the hour. And yes, that is a live shot of the players coming out of the tunnels as we go down to the sideline for an update, and Lindsay Rowley.
Hi guys, I was just told by Syracuse that the issue was that they had 3 players that had indeed tested negative. However, they wanted to confirm it with the county. Those 3 players did indeed. They got confirmed. They are negative testing. So now, as you see, the teams are hitting the field, and we should be good to go here for fairly shortly.
Well, Lindsay, now the thing becomes, you know, like a rain delay. We talked with Jeff Collins this week, and he's pulled back on how hard they've practiced. Thursday, it's no sweat Thursday. He doesn't want them going too hard. He doesn't want to wear them out, and they've got to be so careful with injuries, you know, let alone you're dealing with COVID, and then the normal injuries that take their toll during the course of a season. After 27 minutes of sitting around the locker room, now you got to come get re-lathered up a little bit, so they need to take a little extra time now to make sure they're loose, that they didn't tighten up with all that pre-game warm-up. Was all for naught, so they need to come out and spend a little bit extra time.
James, I think the key phrase in this instance is abundance of caution. Exercised by the league, the schools, all the support staff around the teams, making sure we are confident 100% that we can play this game. And I was just told that kickoff is scheduled for 12:30. Scheduled for 12:30. Again, the players and coaching staff just came out of the locker rooms, so they need to, as you expressed, James, get loose and start as well. And James, so we're hoping we'll kick it off at 12:30.
Right, and there they go. You see Georgia Tech getting out there and loose. 7:20 from now. Syracuse as well going through their warm-up again. But to have just a handful that they weren't sure on is, you know, that's kind of a curious situation. Three players.
There were 3 tests, James. Syracuse Sports Information just handed me a note that said there were 3 players. They wanted to confirm the negative tests on those testing results, which they got back, but that was the reason for the delay, but a perfectly valid reason as we try to navigate our way through this college football season in 2020. And the health and safety of everyone involved, the top priority, the abundance of caution used by the folks here at Syracuse, the ACC, and the visiting Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets.
Absolutely. Georgia Tech, when they went down to Tallahassee a couple weeks ago, took 11 buses. They didn't fly. This is their first time on a plane. Jeff Collins has each of his guys in their own hotel room. And you know, the same thing goes for Syracuse. It's tough to do in a regular season. Special teams seems to be the ongoing theme of what we're cutting out a little bit, because guys are clumped together, guys are standing around together. So whether it's Dino Babers or Jeff Collins, everybody's got to get creative, and that includes game day now. It includes, you know, coming out and being all ready to go. One thing's for sure, though, is the old meathead way when I was in high school and early on in college of like getting your, like Latimer from the program, getting yourself hitting your head on the locker like, I want it. I'm glad that people don't act like that so much anymore. You know, like you just got to kind of be professional about it and ease into it, because then you get yourself amped up. And imagine if you're ready to go for that 12 o'clock high noon kickoff, and then you, oh, wait a minute, my bad. We've got 3, we got to recheck 30 more minutes. So as a player, you really have to change your mindset too. Yeah, the players on the field trying to get loose. As you can see, we've gone past the 12:30 window now, and it is for these players to allow themselves to be ready for this football game and sort of re-warm up, like you mentioned, James. But again, just to recap and review, an abundance of caution utilized by everyone involved, including the league and the schools, the testing, making sure that those negatives were in fact the proper results, and they were what we're being told. Lindsey Rowley, some fantastic reporting from the sidelines as well. The team's coming out onto the field just moments ago. At first we were told 12:30. We're going to push that back a little bit just for the health and safety of the players and make sure everybody's ready. But honestly, really a sigh of relief to see the players come out of the tunnel, everyone healthy and everything in its proper place. Hey, if we've got to start 30 minutes later, so what? In 2020, you have to do what's right. You have to exercise an abundance of caution, and that's what's being done today, James. I'm going to get an abundance of caution shirt, or put it on my mat. That is the key phraseology. It is. You know what? If you have to start an hour late, or if you have to go in and scrub up your hotel room on the road, you know, it's just like we've all got to do our part, and we've all got to be safe. And we had to take COVID tests before coming into the state of New York. Otherwise, sit in quarantine, but did that, had that taken care of. As we take a look at Dino Babers, who actually said to us, talking about the new Carrier Dome, the new one improved, he said, you know what, it's so pretty in there, I got to win some football games. I don't want to hand this over to somebody else. That's true, 0-2 to start the season. Although, James, as we mentioned in the open, which is now over a half hour ago, they did play 2 of the teams that are in the upper echelon of the conference, certainly. And Georgia Tech, you'd have to say they've overachieved so far a little bit, James. Oh, without a doubt. Nobody gave them much of a chance to do anything. Picked for the most part by everybody to finish last in the ACC. And opening week, they go to Tallahassee. And yet the Seminoles have had their troubles, but athletically, they've still recruited some outstanding players over the last, not just the last few years, but the last, few decades. And to go down there and to get that win, when you're down at halftime, 10-0. Everybody else is telling you that you don't have a chance. But these guys believed, and that head coach back there, Jeff Collins, is the #1 reason that this team is believing. So the team captains representing their squads. We're just a few minutes away now from scheduled kickoff. Now, the new rules, there have been a few new rules that we've already seen come into play. #1 is that you're not supposed to, the trend the last few years, guys warming up without a shirt on. All the Yellow Jackets were shirtless for a little bit of time in pregame. And then the other one was you're only supposed to send 1 captain out, and I guess that is what Georgia Tech's doing, just 1 and 1. Thought it was going to be 4. Yeah, the captains will meet there at midfield. Trill Williams for the Orange. Number 15, Malachi Carter, number 55. Tobias Oliver for Georgia Tech. Trill Williams was the player who made that.
Gentlemen, I'm Mr. Roach. This is Mr. Echo. Will be 2 of your officials today. Georgia Tech, it's your toss to call. That'll be the heads. The opposite side will be the tails. I'm going to toss in here, let it land on the ground. I'm going to ask for your call now. Heads or tails? Tails is the call. And there's a heads. That means Syracuse has won the toss. They've elected to receive. You would like to kick? Yeah. This way. Syracuse begin the game by receiving in the westernmost end zone. Gentlemen, have a great football game. Be great today.
So you got the official word from our referee, Mike Roach. Syracuse winning the toss, electing to receive against Georgia Tech. And I was talking about Trill Williams for Dino Babers on the Syracuse side, number 8. And Trill Williams, James, the last time we were in the Dome, how about cash money trillionaire? Go ahead with it.
Oh, wow. Well, last season, every game that we got together in the booth up here, it seemed to be just an outstanding wild finish type of game. The 6 OT game, we had Virginia Tech and North Carolina, and it ended the season, last game of the regular season for us. Wake Forest going down trying to put it in and get a win on the road. And cash money trillionaire interception to the house, and they're in there singing, whose house? Our house, the Carrier Dome.
Yeah.
And man, it's good to see him back out there ready to kick it off.
What a way to close out the season last year for the Orange in that overtime victory against Wake Forest. You saw Nykeem Johnson. He is the deep man. And we're ready to put this ball in the air after our delay of about 30 minutes. Georgia Tech and Syracuse have not met since 2013, the first year in the conference for the Orange, and that was a big win for Georgia Tech. They won that 56-0 in Atlanta. It's going to be Johnson. Johnson cut at the 20 and tumbled down at the 25-yard line.
Well, here's the trillion-dollar question, if you will, Tom. Tommy DeVito. There were grumblings around here. Hey, maybe with that nice long pass, Rex Culpepper should start today. Tommy DeVito is your guy, and if you're a Syracuse fan, you got to hope that he stays clean and he gets his pitch back here today, gets into some sort of a rhythm. And wouldn't it be nice right here on the opening drive, winning the coin toss, Dino Babers electing to receive, and see if they can put some points up on the board.
Now, Syracuse allowed 7 sacks in both of the first 2 games, most recently last Saturday at number 21 Pitt, a loss on the road. This pass is complete and very close to first down yardage to Aaron Hackett. Wanye Thomas on the tackle. Let's take a look at today's impact players, brought to you by your local Toyota dealer on the Orange side of the ball.
All right, positive play. They're going to go quick. We got to go quick as well. Aaron Hackett getting involved. There's Chris Elmore on the left side as a flag comes down. Elmore, just a left guard now. We've seen him on defense. We've seen him at fullback. We might see him some at fullback, but he is now the mainstay there.
Sylvain. Offside. Defense, number 22. It's a 5-yard penalty. First down.
There you go. There's Oliver with the penalty flag being thrown his way. And on the other side of the ball, defensively for Georgia Tech, Charlie Thomas. Charlie Thomas is one of those guys that you got to be flexible and get creative when you got such a playmaker like 25. He'll be all over the field. And it's Brooks, big Jamin Brooks right there in the middle. Needs to keep shutting down that run.
Those impact players brought to you by your local Toyota dealer. That pass by Tommy DeVito is incomplete. Looking for Luke Benson, the tight end.
How about this? They have not used the tight ends much at all. First play, they come out, they go right at Hackett. A nice big pickup, quick over the ball. And here a couple plays later, big guy that can run, the sophomore Benson. Remember, he had that 70-yard touchdown against Holy Cross last year. Looked like a little sprinter. Second and medium here.
Handoff into the ground with Jordan. Jawar Jordan on the carry for the Orange. Yun Jewin on the tackle, Georgia Tech.
Well, and a good job by the sophomore, Yun Jewin. Watch him here on the edge. He's gonna use his hands on Elmore, so separate, so he doesn't get tied up in there and can flatten out and come out and make the stop. That's a nice stop to force a third down, and this has been an adventure, to say the least. A very ugly adventure, time after time, on third down for the Orange so far this year.
Just 2 of 14 against Pitt on third down, and this is going to be well short at the 40. Jordan had the catch, Georgia Tech converging. Tobias Oliver there. It's going to be 4th and 6.
There's another look at it. You had Curry on the blitz. He's going to turn and burn, and a good job by Oliver. Hey, don't go for the big kill shot out there in the open. At the very least, come under control, slow them down, let your buddies with the gold bonnets come running over to help clean it up. That's exactly what they do, and force a 3-and-out to start this game.
Caleb Oliver, number 22, making the play for Georgia Tech. Syracuse forced to punt. Ezzard scoops it up. Makes a couple of men miss and advances past the 25-yard line on the return by Ezzard of 16 yards. So now, James, we get a look at Jeff Sims. Threw for 244 yards in the loss last Saturday against UCF, but threw for 277 in the win at Florida State to start the season.
Well, he's got to protect the football, not just through the air with a couple of interceptions, but he put one on the ground, carrying it away from his body like a loaf of bread against UCF early.
Gibbs on the run, Georgia Tech. Some pads popping on the near sideline. Time for our impact players, James, brought to you by your local Toyota dealer. Here's Georgia Tech.
All right, going to start with the 404 guys. Mikey Minahan there in the middle. He can run this offense on his own. Very smart. This is a new look O-line. Some big guys. Watch out.
That ball's on the turf. A scurry for the football. Who's got it? Georgia Tech will keep possession.
Here's another look at it. Well, it just slips right out of the hands of the freshman, Jeff Sims. Boy, are they lucky that they didn't give him a freebie. Nice job by the big man, Ryan Johnson-Haas, the transfer from Tennessee, to see it and fall on it. You know, you mentioned Minahan, but Haas has been so big as well. How about the freshman, the right tackle, Jordan Williams, too?
Georgia Tech was 13th in third down conversions a season ago, and this is a scramble by Sims, way short of the marker, which is up near the 37-yard line. So the punting unit making its appearance for Georgia Tech.
Josh Black, a leader on this defense, the defensive end. This Syracuse defense, new defensive coordinator Tony White, he has them hunting together. They've played really well the first couple games. Definitely kept this team in the first two. They want to help them get a win this one.
Harvin the third on the kick. Johnson watches it sail out of bounds near the 30-yard line. And they're going to mark it out at the 31, where Syracuse will take over 1st and 10 after a 40-yard punt by Harvin. There is no score early in the first.
Imagine a tiny device that will check your blood oxygen level. Well, that was fun.
Okay, I'm up. 5 more minutes. Break me off a piece of that Kit Kat bar.
Color Snap Color ID from Sherwin-Williams. Color palettes curated just for you.
Syracuse with a 7-0 lead, a 38-yard touchdown run by Sean Tucker. And there is the legend, Ernie Davis, that statue just outside of the Carrier Dome as you walk towards the quad up here on campus. And Hendricks Chapel off to the left of that statue. What a wonderful campus it is, and it's great to be here for ACC football. Gibbs, the deep man for Georgia Tech. Syracuse opening the scoring on its second possession of our football game.
Careful of Gibbs. He went 75 against UCF last week. Won't be the case right here as it hits the turf. All right, right side of the line. Everybody talks about the strength being on the left side, but look at those big guys. Boom, clearing out the way. You've got not only the center, Vettorello, but Tisdale is the right guard over here, and then you've got Bergeron, the tackle as well. There we go. Come on, there we go. Woo. Rusty on that telestrator, but you get the idea, right? Man, and then just such a great job, the effort by the freshman. But, wow, how promising is that? DeVito's reading that end on the other side. He had no idea this hole that he's about to hand it off into. It was the right read. Got to feel good. Let's see if they can get a stop defensively.
Sims flush out of that pocket, running to his left and getting past the 30-yard line and out of bounds. Forced out by Carter, number 11 for the Orange.
And this is just what can be so dangerous. Nothing there to be able to tuck it and go. And, you know, he's one of those guys you call an effortless runner, Jeff Sims. He picks up so much ground at a long stride when he gets out in the open. Tough to bottle him up.
Now he wants to throw. Pops in the air. Taken by the Orange. And intercepted by Josh Black. The progress of Sims' arm was impeded. It popped in the air. And Black has it for Syracuse.
The senior getting one from the freshman. Josh Black, the leader over there. A play-action pass. And the pressure getting to him. That's Kingsley Jonathan that got in there and got a piece of it to knock it up to his teammate, Josh Black. Disruptive is how Dino Babers describes his defensive end, Josh Black. That whole defense disruptive that time. The senior combination of 9 and 85. Now trying to do something with it in a hurry here.
DeVito hands it off to Tucker. Maybe a modest gain, perhaps back to the line of scrimmage for Tucker, which is the 29-yard line. Sean Tucker, by the way, James, years from now on this campus, they'll say, who scored the first touchdown in the refurbished Carrier Dome? And you will say, freshman Sean Tucker took it 38 yards up the middle.
And then if you get somebody years from now that says, you know, I was there when Sean Tucker
Wait a minute
scored.
now.
No, you didn't. That Veronica Vaughn.
Unless they were on the support staff or a member of the team or part of the assembled media. DeVito buying a little bit of time and was able to sail that one out of bounds. And the pressure by Brooks for Georgia Tech.
Well, single digits handed out by Jeff Collins. You got to be the cream of the crop. You got to be a leader. You got to be a baller, a hustler, all the above if you get a single-digit number like Jamin Brooks, the sophomore on this team.
3rd and long for DeVito. That one hits the turf off of the fingertips of Nykeem Johnson, and that'll bring up 4th down.
Holding my breath there for Nykeem Johnson. You talk about a defenseless player going through there, keeping his eyes on that ball. He almost able to pull it in, but too many drops. Too many drops. It's not just what's going on with the sacks this year, but the confidence in the route running and the drops. You know, here you have a chance, a sudden change to get out there and really put it on the visitors. Chance to move those sticks, but it won't be the case here. Maybe by the way of 3 and Schmidt.
47 yards away. And the kick by Schmidt is good. Career field goal number 51. 2nd most among active players in the football bowl subdivision. Schmidt is money. And the Orange have taken a 10-0 lead in the brand new Shiny Dome.
CP. The Works Landroid Robotic Lawnmower. Available at mylandroid.com. Your local Sherwin-Williams paint store. Painting questions? Ask Sherwin-Williams. And Toyota. Visit your local Toyota dealers today.
You think there have been some great broadcasters that have come through Syracuse University? Well, I'm working next to one of them. Hey, Glickman, Marv Albert, Costas. I'm talking Wormy, baby. Next to basketball coach Jim Boeheim.
I am not in the class with the guys that you showed me beforehand. They paved the way for me, Batesy, and I appreciate everything that everyone did for me here at campus almost 30 years ago, James.
Oh, man. Well, I'm excited for you. This is such a big, we talked about, you know, history in the making here and the new and improved Carrier Dome. We gave so many firsts here today. I'm excited that you get to be a part of this as well. So, you know, you're paving the way for these young broadcasters next to us. Still the students still doing the broadcast here today. Not many people allowed in the building. I was hoping that they'd still be next to us. What an incredible opportunity at these schools that give their students an opportunity to get out there and call a live football game.
So Syracuse coming off of the made field goal by Schmidt. This is going to be Gibbs inside his 5. And several orange tacklers converge on him beyond the 15-yard line. The return officially 16 yards from Gibbs. Take a listen.
That play right there has got to be as exciting as any play here so far in this game for the Orange coaching staff. When your guys are swarming the football on special teams like that, they're all invested. They're all there and ready to go.
False start. Offense, number 1. 5-yard penalty. First down.
The 88 for the Orange was Drew Tuzama making the play on specials. False start for Jeff Collins in Georgia Tech. Second season for Collins, former assistant coach for Georgia Tech. In fact, he was involved in one of the previous meetings. There's only been 3 between these programs back in 01, a win for Georgia Tech back then.
But that one was in the Meadowlands. Then a week later, they played Navy, and then, of course, September 11th hit on week 3 of that football season. So,
yeah, kickoff classic, James, back in 01. 13-7 in a win for Georgia Tech, and Coach Collins was an assistant.
It used to be fun back the kickoff classic when it was the only game in town, you know. And now there's so many different classics. Well, there used to be anyway. I know 2020 a little bit different. This Georgia Tech team needs to get some sort of flow going. Been very sloppy here in the first quarter.
Sims through the progression over the middle and caught. Jalen Camp is the target. Move those chains for the Jackets.
Plenty of time for Big Jeff Sims to stand in that pocket, and plenty of time for Camp to come open across the middle. Just an easy throw and catch.
19 yards on the previous play. They'll go to the ground. Breaking tackles up the middle near midfield. Jamias Griffin. Back-to-back first downs. Georgia Tech.
Leading rusher right there, Jamias Griffin. He's going to bring the load. Some athletic linebackers on the Syracuse team, but they got to bring the pop and wrap up.
That's a completion to Camp onto the Syracuse side of the 50 after Griffin had gotten 12 yards on the run, and Williams made the tackle for the Orange. On this brand new turf inside the newly refurbished Carrier Dome, which opened up back in 1980. Nowhere to go for Griffin, able to get a little bit out of that rush and inside the 45-yard line.
And that's a nice job. Good job of being patient for Griffin. Don't just run right up in there and get nothing. Get me what you can right now, and he gets a couple to bring up a third down and pretty short.
Sims still has it. He dives across the 40-yard line. That is first down yardage to the 38 for Jeff Sims, who led him in rushing a week ago. He had 82 yards and ran for his score in the loss against UCF.
Nice read there. Probably could have given it and still gotten the first down, but he pulls it out, tucks it, and just cool, calm, and collected. That's what I like watching this freshman so far. Something goes wrong, and you don't get the sense that, oh my gosh, everything's on fire. There's no fire going on right now. He's smooth and relaxed and patient, even when things haven't been going his way.
Sims still looking. Dumps it off, and it's incomplete. Off of the fingertips of Griffin. Harper with the pressure for the Orange D. So second down now from the Orange 38. A touchdown run by Tucker. A 47-yard field goal from Schmidt in the first quarter for Syracuse.
There's Tony White, new defensive coordinator, coming in from Arizona State. He was the one scratching his chin through that neck gaiter.
To the edge. And out of bounds for Gibbs. Not quite to the 30-yard line.
You know, Canton Arku is going to have a chance right here. Watch 31. He's outside. He's got the right angle. You got to flatten out. Don't go where he is. Go where he's going to be. He's done a really good job, Canton Arku, of making plays just like that. He gets burnt right here. A little speed on the edge to make a 3rd and short.
Once again to the outside. Gibbs again. Stephon Thompson, number 27, for the orange tackle on Gibbs. First down, Georgia Tech.
Tom, this is one thing that I've noticed watching ball here early on. Whether you look at these linebackers, and this time it's Thompson to finally bring him down, but too many slip tackles, too many of these running backs that are churning hard, and you go in there and you don't bring everything you have. Guys aren't falling down, and they haven't been tackling a lot in camp.
Gibbs trying to stretch it out. Took a sharp angle inside the 20-yard line. And he was close to the first down marker, short by about a yard or so. So now Georgia Tech has just entered the CPI Security red zone. 2nd and short for the Yellow Jackets, and Sims out of the shotgun. Pressure, ball available, and picked off. 2nd interception. This is Trill Williams. Williams taken down near the 35-yard line. Another ball pops in the air. Sanders had to make the catch. Sims, 2nd INT.
Boy, Tony White dialing up the pressure. This time it comes off the edge, and getting there is Michael Jones, who's been making the big plays himself by way of turnovers. And we haven't seen Cisco out there. Andre Cisco, I believe, was injured in pregame. He's usually the big ball hawk back there, but not to be outdone. Trill Williams, cash money trillionaire, as we called him last year against Wake Forest, almost taking another one to the house, and a good job to go run him down and to save it, make him earn it.
DeVito, Tucker, past one man, puts the shoulder down and gets rocked out of bounds inside the 25. Derek Allen on the hit for Georgia Tech. James, just to follow up on Cisco, not dressed right now. It's not related to the delay prior to the game.
How about Tucker showing the speed and taking the hit there at the end? We've shown him show a little bit of athletic ability, some power there in between the tackles. This guy's got some wheels when he gets outside, just a freshman. Keep feeding him.
Had 13 yards on that last run. He'll keep those legs moving and try to lunge to the 22. Sean Tucker ran into Caleb Oliver, number 22 in white and gold and blue. Inside of 3.5 minutes to go in a fast-paced first quarter. Scoreboard favoring the orange, and DeVito gets rid of it, looking for the end zone. It's too far. His intended receiver was Anthony Quealy.
Boy, coming off the edge on a blitz was the junior out of Fort Valley, Georgia, Peach County High School, Quez Jackson. Had an interception week 1 against FSU. And DeVito had to get rid of it, had no choice. He's about to take a shot in the mouth.
Jackson, the leading tackler for this Georgia Tech team. And now 3rd and long for Syracuse. DeVito tries to take off. He breaks a tackle, looking for that marker, and he scampers out of bounds. He's got enough. First down, Syracuse.
And this is what Tommy DeVito does good. You see David Curry blitzing on the left side of the offense, and then just tucking it and seeing an open field with defensive backs with their backs turned in man coverage, all looking the other way as they had the blitz on. Nice heady play to move those chains for Syracuse and Tommy DeVito.
10 yards on the rush by DeVito. Tucker has it. Puts that head down and blasts through the line to about the 6-yard line. Syracuse can get another first down at about the 3.5-yard line.
Orange fans and players alike thinking this is more like it coming into this football game. This is an offense that was averaging only 2.8 yards per play. And they're just chewing them up right now after the interception.
6 yards on that last rush. Tucker turns the corner down the seam and gets inside the 5. He's going to be close to that first down marker.
Let's take a look at the big guys up front. Getting up and moving. There you see Service, the left tackle, the senior, that left side. They're expecting to be the strong part of this offensive line. Rhino, Chris Elmore over there with Service as well. There's Aaron Service.
3 for 5 on third down of the game for the Orange on 3rd and 1, and it looks like Coach Babers is going to call a timeout deep into the play clock. So again, they can get a first down at about the 3-yard line or so. So it's going to be 3rd and short. ACC football is presented by CPI Security. And Syracuse threatening in the red zone. It is 3rd and short. We told you how third down had been such an issue for this offense coming into the game today. But James, they've been impressive overall in this first quarter against Georgia Tech.
Well, they really have. And defensively is where it's really started. You know, defense has done their job in the first couple games. They continue to do it here, turning the ball over twice. 2 interceptions by this defense. There was one fumble that hit the ground that they didn't get. So here's a 3rd and short now.
Tucker towards the goal line for Tucker and in for his 2nd touchdown in the first quarter, and the Orange get to the end zone.
Watch the push, the right side of the offensive line. Aaron Hackett in there as well to tie it in. Tisdale, Bergeron, Elmore coming around there. And maybe most impressive is the freshman, just the powerful, the pad level. And not to be denied, well, Dino Babers liking what he's seeing. Keep feeding the young man. First interception by this defense today was Josh Black. They got 3 points out of it. This one, just as he's getting hit by Johnson, there's the interception by Trill Williams. A nice job by Sanders to run him down and make him earn these 7 points. And earn them they did. Capped off with this short 3rd down run. Look at the bodies. Look at him banging a little bit. That doesn't look to me like an offensive line that's been timid. And, you know, a lot of people griping about that offensive line here the first couple of weeks, and justifiably so when you look and see some of those sacks and what they haven't been able to do on the ground. But it is a new look here back at home in the new look Carrier Dome, and they're fired up.
James, do you think when Trill Williams made that interception, he was having flashbacks to the Wake Forest game in overtime a season ago?
I know I was.
Right?
Yeah.
In that game, he had the strip and return for 94 yards. And Syracuse beat Wake Forest in the last game in the old Dome, 39-30 in OT. You don't often see 9 points in the overtime period, but that's exactly what the Orange got.
All right. Is it me, or is the artificial crowd noise a little bit louder right now for the home team?
Nolan Cooney will kick it away. This is Gibbs. Meets the ball right before the 5. Gibbs past the 20.
Family with a big bow box. It's bow time.
Well, bow time, or go time, or hot and ready Waffle House time, whatever time it is, this Georgia Tech team trying to jump back in this one, looking at 17-0 here with 1:16 left in this first quarter.
Sims wants to run. Goes down just short of the 25-yard line. And now just over a minute to go in the first. Rob Hanna on the tackle for the Orange. Georgia Tech losing at home against UCF a week ago, 49-21. But Coach Collins told us they were inside the 10-yard line 3 times on their first 3 drives and only came away with 7 points. Tackle at the 25 of Griffin.
Yeah, the Yellow Jackets scored on the opening possession. It was a 75-yard kickoff return that set them up by Jahmyr Gibbs, who's back in the game right now at running back. And then 2 other drives, one of them ending in a fumble by Jeff Sims.
2 for 3 on 3rd down in the game for Georgia Tech. It is 3rd and 7. Final seconds of our first quarter. Sims, the release, off the fingertips of the defender, Garrett Williams, who reacted to the football, and the clock stops with 10 seconds to go in the first.
Well, again, the pressure is there. Bodies all around the freshman. And a defense that's charging hard, not only up front, but in the secondary as well. Williams almost had interception number 3 for the Orange here today. 15 tackles on the season and defending them up right there through the air as well.
So Presley Harvin, who had a 70-yard punt against UCF, a career long. He was the National Punter of the Week, the Ray Guy Award, but there is a flag prior to the punt from Harvin.
False start. Offense, 14. 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
Boy, if there's a reset button over on that Georgia Tech sidelines, they certainly would like to find it and hit it the way this first quarter has gone. Just the flags, the turnovers. And, you know, and credit Syracuse, too, playing hard, force a lot of those troubles.
Johnson, the deep man for the Orange, will watch it hit and roll. And this one goes inside the 20. Fantastic punt from Harvin. How about 58 yards? So the first quarter has come to an end inside the newly refurbished dome. And those first 15 minutes have belonged to the Orange. Couple of interceptions and 17 points. Well, James, the Orange have the lead on the scoreboard, 17-0 after the first, as we look at the numbers accumulated by the teams in that first quarter.
Well, the big number up top for the Orange, 17, has got to feel good. No points scored for Georgia Tech. And back at it offensively. Here go the Orange.
It's Taj Harris on the catch from DeVito, who is now 4 of 8 through the air. Tommy DeVito, his numbers last week, just 9 of 15 and 32 yards and an interception. As we showed you, that was his first in 206 attempts, which was a school record here for the Orange, with those numbers well below the standard he is used to and expected by his head coach. DeVito again has to freelance, puts the helmet down, cannot get to the 25. Quez Jackson on the tackle, Georgia Tech.
You know, I can't help but think that Jaquez Jackson may be named after Jaquez Green, who was a teammate of mine at Florida. He's from Peach County right there as well. He's about that age, right, when he was doing his thing?
DeVito trying to do his thing on 3rd down, and Georgia Tech will stifle that effort. DeVito going down. He gets sacked. Jordan Dominic, number 42, in on the play for Jeff Collins and the Jackets.
Jeff Collins, the defensive guy coming up through the ranks. Mississippi State, those bad defenses. I mean, bad meaning good. And at Florida as well, it's kind of what he hangs his hat on. And Andrew Thacker, his defensive coordinator, drawing it up right there and getting the first sack of the day. And this is an offense, 14 sacks given up coming into this one.
Cooney with the punt. Ezer deep. From 31, first man misses. Orange take down Ezra at the 35-yard line. Early in the second quarter, unseasonably warm. That's how we like it on the Syracuse campus. And the Orange up 17-0.
All is brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of North Carolina. We resolve to help North Carolina stay healthy. Bojangles, it's bow time. And Jeep.
The brand new roof on top of the Carrier Dome. That crown truss you saw up there, 6 million pounds of structural steel. And then you've got some industrial plastic and metal and cables and wires, and it's an architectural marvel, this roof on top of the dome, supporting that center-hung scoreboard. Incredible, James.
It is, and it's beautiful. You come in, the skyline has changed now in Syracuse because of it. You talk about the marble. This used to be an air, wind-supported structure, and you used to feel it when you'd come into the building. You were sucked into that vacuum.
Yep.
That's not there anymore. I kind of miss it. It was fun.
The old canvas and Teflon roof.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Well, it's a rush from Gibbs for Georgia Tech on first down. First quarter belonging to the Orange. Okechukwu making the tackle for Syracuse, second. And 8 for the Jackets. There was pressure on Sims. He went down and the ball sailed incomplete as Kenton Arkuma came in to make the play on Sims.
Boy, get used to that, young man, all day long, Jeff Sims. The pressure has worked. It's created 2 interceptions already and plenty of balls that have missed the target. Just heating it up for Jeff Sims. Got some AC/DC rocking here to the third down and long in the Carrier Dome now.
There is that constant soundtrack of the crowd noise, artificially added to our game this afternoon. And something looked wrong from the very start as the play clock was running down.
Before the snap, delay of game, offense, 5-yard penalty, third down.
Well, they had a freebie. Had they snapped it with one of the blitzers or defenders stepping up there showing a blitz, they didn't snap it and get the freebie, and they didn't snap it, period, and going back the other way. Now they'll really heat it up. Let's see if they bring anybody. Just 4.
3rd and 13 over the middle, incomplete near the 45-yard line. Malachi Carter was the intended receiver. Garrett Williams, stride for stride, knocked it away.
Well, one thing, watching number 14, Garrett Williams, in the previous couple games, you'd like for him maybe to be a little bit more aggressive. He gets up tight and bang a little bit more. Here he's just draped on the intended target. Nice job, perfectly played defensively, not to interfere, knowing where he's going with that route.
Harvin punts it. Johnson wants the fair catch. He will make it successfully near the 23-yard line. And so the Orange will go back on offense after the 45-yard punt from Harvin with 12 minutes and 32 seconds to go in the quarter. The legend here at Syracuse, Jim Brown, and the legend of 44 lives on inside the dome.
Imagine if you...
Georgia Tech 17-0. Well, I can tell you right now, I could not solve a Rubik's Cube if my life depended on it. But that is a completely different story for Syracuse's Aaron Service. He can actually solve the cube in under a minute. Aaron knows the 6 algorithms in order to solve it. Incredibly intelligent. Told me that he feels that it's important to process information quickly in order to transfer that over to football. And guys, get this, his record, 38 seconds solving in a Rubik's Cube.
Wow. Yeah, Lindsay, I think that I'm so bad at stuff like that. If I were in the same room as Aaron, he would somehow, it would take him like 3 minutes just by me being there, mess things up. How about that? Good with his hands. Got to be good with his hands there on that offensive tackle position. Got to be able to get a little bit rougher and tougher, though, than doing the Rubik's Cube.
Trying to protect Tommy DeVito. They'll run it on first down. That's Tucker. He's got a couple of TD runs of 38 and 5 yards.
You know, social media, the awkward family photos, Tom, they have accounts, Instagram and whatever. It's like you probably have a lot of glamour shots of people with the Rubik's Cube from back in the day. I bet you none of them look as tough as he did with his glamour shot and his cube.
So far, Syracuse has solved Georgia Tech.
Offense, number 63. It's a 5-yard penalty, second down.
Although that's against Chris Elmore.
Elmore wears a 5 as well, and he has in the past. He's wearing that 63 right now. I don't know if he would change if they move him back to some running back. The Rhino, as they call him. Hey, Coach, how tough is he? Oh, just I want you to do this, James. After we get off this call, I want you to Google Lions versus Rhinos and watch those videos.
DeVito heaves it on the run, underthrown, and intercepted. Georgia Tech gets an interception of its own. It was Walton in the secondary with the pick for the Yellow Jackets.
Phenomenal job by the sophomore out of Melbourne, Florida. He's going to be stride for stride with the receivers. The pressure gets to DeVito late, and he launches it up there. It's underthrown. Look, at first he's beat, so he plays catch-up, and then when he sees those eyes get big on the receiver, those eyes are getting big for a reason. He's motoring down for a reason. A lot of young guys will just run on past. He motors down as well, turns and finds that football, high points it, and the first turnover today by Syracuse. Let's see if Georgia Tech can do anything with it.
Sims heaves it. Bounces in the air. Is it picked off? There's a flag out. There's 2 out. It was a diving play by Carter, and then number 19 as well. Rob Hanna was there. Couple of flags on the play as Sims threw it deep. Ezard was the receiver back there.
There are 2 fouls on the play, both on the defense. Personal foul, roughing the passer, defense number 9. The penalty's declined. Pass interference, defense number 19. That penalty be accepted, 15 yards, first down.
So 19 is Rob Hanna, and he is shaken up.
Timeout on the field for an injury.
Well, here's another look at it, and the receiver does a really good job, Ezard, of walling off the defender. But some banging, and the ball gets hit. And I mean, the first 2 interceptions have been pretty kooky being hit, and this one was just another one that off the helmet. And there was the bang by Garrett Williams, who's done such a fantastic job of avoiding those penalty flags here today. This time, he's got his eyes on the ball, and he just runs into him with his chest. He just kind of chest bumps him, and good job hustling over there, and hopefully it's just getting the wind knocked out of him as he laid out for it.
So they attend to Rob Hanna, and we're back in a moment. Dino Babers in the orange with a 17-0 lead. 11:32 to go in our second quarter.
Cam Jonas, the sophomore from West Palm, Florida, in there to replace Hanna. Looked to be okay there during the break, getting off to the sidelines.
Griffin on the run for Georgia Tech. Near the 40-yard line.
I'm trying to pull a Sean Tucker there. No whistle, kept on going, but they'll finally whistle him down. But a nice gain of 8 on first down and 2nd and 2.
That should be enough near the 37 for Griffin. And that is going to be a first down.
Important here for Georgia Tech to cap off what seems to be a little bit more feel-good, a little bit more of a rhythm now with some points. But the extra point, the field goal unit, any attempt it's been kind of tough going here early on. They'd like to get 7.
To the 25 goes Gibbs. Griffin and Gibbs, the 1-2 punch.
And what could be looking at a 1-2-3 punch if they'll get Mason back. You see the big body of Jack DeFore, the senior transfer from Ole Miss, coming around to lead the way. Moving those chains.
12 yards and a first down. Right side of the line for Gibbs. He got forced back. They'll mark him inside that 25. Steve Linton making the play for Syracuse. We should also mention that Andre Sisco ran into a teammate, collided with a teammate in pregame warmups, and he's on the sideline, but just wearing his jersey, not in pads and not available for that secondary for the Orange. So Sisco on the sideline. Sims to the end zone. Trill Williams was defending. I think it hit him right in the helmet. They were looking for Brown. Williams has an interception in our game and made the play here.
Yeah, ball thrown just a little bit late here. And he's just running out of space. And Trill Williams, well, he starts to turn that head around and does a good job. They're stride for stride. Well, look at the juice, the makeup speed. He had some space. That space is gone in a hurry when Trill Williams decided to turn and burn.
Sims. Quick throw. Ball separated from the receiver by Williams. It was P.J. Harris for Georgia Tech, and Williams made sure he could not hang on. 4th down, Georgia Tech.
Going to have a stunt up front. They just bring 4 in one of those games, and it really works there, coming around the edges, the rusher. But on the back end of it, Trill Williams, who's done an excellent job against the run here this year, super job of knowing where the sticks are, where they're trying to get. Here's a 4th down.
Sims throws on the run to the end zone, and it's a touchdown, Georgia Tech. On 4th and long, and it's Gibbs who raced to the end zone, hauls it in for the score for the Yellow Jackets. Sims the throw, Gibbs the catch.
It was Richards on the blitz last time to create the pressure. This time he's in coverage, and he's just playing catch up the whole time. That one had to be a perfect pass, and it absolutely was. What a pretty ball thrown by Jeff Sims on the fly, rolling out to his right, and drops a dime in there to put the Jackets on the board. Uh-oh. Told you it had been an adventure. Look at this guy.
Harvin, watch out, and he gets bounced out of bounds, trying to go for 2. After the 24-yard touchdown pass, Melifonwu took him out.
That's like the mini Rhino. Folks around here know about Chris Elmore, the Rhino, running for touchdowns. There's that beautifully thrown football. Hey, they haven't done a very good job point after tries this season. Why not try something new? The big man not getting in.
Most of these ACC network stations, Texas State travels to Chestnut Hill to take on Boston College. Evan Lepler, Charles Arbuckle, and Abby Labar getting set to bring you all the action. You want to check your local listings for the game in Chestnut Hill. First ever meeting between those two teams.
Wormy.
Yes, sir.
You had those Eagles. Coach Hafley getting a nice win there in his first game out the gate as the head coach there on Chestnut Hill. What did you think there? Looking at them right there live at the action last Saturday.
They had to go on the road to Duke. James, it was a 1-point game at halftime. And then Phil Jerkovic, the quarterback for Boston College, threw a couple of TD passes and threw for 300 yards in the game. So that was the mathematics involved in that one in the second half. And Boston College 1-0, trying to go to 2-0 later tonight on your regional sports networks. Check your local listings, 6 o'clock from Chestnut Hill. Kent to kick it away. A 24-yard touchdown pass on 4th down. Sims to Gibbs. This is Johnson. Johnson, 40-yard line. Past the 50, Nykeem Johnson on the return for the Orange. 49 yards for Johnson, taking it back into Georgia Tech territory.
How's that for an answer? Special teams has been key in the victory on the road over FSU for Georgia Tech. They played well against UCF, covering kicks and returning kicks, but not the case right here. Everybody picked up, and Syracuse trying to answer that first touchdown scored and the missed fake extra point try by Georgia Tech.
9:29 on the clock of the second quarter, 17-6. DeVito shovels it forward, in a crowded area. That was Benson who got the little shovel forward from DeVito, and Jackson made the tackle. Stay with us at halftime from the new and improved Dome. Highlights and stats from our first half, and we'll preview that Texas State-Boston College game. In fact, Texas State hasn't played the ACC since 2015. Deep ball. Harris, what a catch! Taj Harris for the Orange ran it down. 48 yards from DeVito.
Well, you knew it was only a matter of time before this speedster was going to be targeted. He had the 69-yard touchdown catch last week in Pittsburgh. This one is a nice, pretty throw and catch as well, and a long one. And just like that, Georgia Tech gets something good going their way, and then they give up the big one. And here's a blocked extra point.
Extra point from Schmidt is blocked. 47 yards on the touchdown pass for Tommy DeVito to Harris.
And there you see that little peek in the backfield, which is never going to help you out. That's Miles Sims, the defensive back, and he's trailing the whole way. You can maybe play around with some, but not the speed of Taj Harris. There are the big bodies getting up there. Who was that? 99. Dowse putting his paw on it, so a missed extra point try on the fake for Georgia Tech, and a blocked extra point try moments after for Syracuse, but it's 23-6. Taj Harris, one of the best in the country in yards per catch. I believe it's 17 yards a catch coming in.
Taj Harris had that 69-yard touchdown reception from Rex Culpepper in the second quarter of the game at Pittsburgh a week ago. So he follows it up this week, combining with DeVito for 47 yards. And now the Orange in the end zone 3 times in this first half. It appears that the offensive struggles for Syracuse for the moment are over. There will be no return on the kickoff. Let's take a look at today's 5-star game summary, brought to you by Yellowwood.
Well, it only took the 2 plays after the outstanding return to set things up for Dino Babers Orange. And Tommy DeVito getting his pitch back like Kenny Powers. We went in that pitching contest at Ashley Schaefer BMW. Got to feel good for him.
Up the middle and past the 40, Dante Smith. First down for Georgia Tech to the 41. Just to follow up on DeVito, James, he's thrown for 80 yards, a touchdown and an interception. He threw for just 32 yards a week ago as DeVito hit Harris for 47 yards and a score here in the second quarter. First down from the 41 for Georgia Tech. So a couple of rush TDs and a passing TD for the Orange. Tucker has the running touchdowns, and here's Sims, quarterback for the Yellow Jackets. Smith fights his way to the 30. So we've seen Gibbs, Griffin, and now Dante Smith, number 28, making an impact.
Yeah, and J.P. Mason, they're without him, unavailable for today. A great job again by DeFore getting around there, and a good job blocking down the field as well. Super job, Jalen Camp, who's had some catches here in this game. And defensively, it's time to stiffen Syracuse. You've done such a good job so far this season.
That play went for 31 yards. Sims looking for the end zone. Receiver and defender got tangled up, and there's at least 2 flags on the field.
Defense number 2, 15-yard penalty automatic, first down.
Melifonwu is number 2, and he incurs the infraction.
Well, and Melifonwu is too good of a cornerback. Excellent secondary here for Syracuse. Of course, the safety play, but Melifonwu, one of the better corners in the league. You know, he's smarter than that. It's those eyes get big, those hands go up for a reason. Snap that head around, find that football like we saw earlier. Georgia Tech with the interception. Instead, knocking on the door, Sims and company here inside the red zone.
From just inside the 15, and they'll blow the play dead as a flag comes out.
Before the snap, false start. Offense, number 85. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Billy Ward is number 85, the freshman for Jeff Collins.
Ward and Jack Coco, the tight ends here listed today is Dylan Leonard and Dylan Devaney. Two tight ends that were unavailable last week. And then again today. So instead, here's your 1st and 15.
Sims hangs on to it and stumbles down near the 10. Jahad Carter had the tackle.
Well, and a nice job in open field. I know it wasn't a big solid wrap up, but to just get a piece of that guy in open field, I don't envy him. That's one of the toughest things to do in football is to get out there in space. And that's exactly what you're trying to do these days is you get our athlete on your athlete and say, hey, my chess pieces are better than yours. We've created this one-on-one matchup. Good job dropping him.
Smith inside the 10. 3rd down.
Good to see Hannah back out there after he was banged up earlier. There you saw the shot of number 19. Here's your 3rd down and 4. And you better believe that this is 4-down territory, Tom. They didn't fake that extra point just to be cute. They've had trouble when they get in close, whether it's the angle of the kick or the blocking up front.
3rd and 4. Into the middle of the line and through inside the 5 by Dante Smith. And he's got 1st and goal for the Yellow Jackets as they convert on 3rd down. He has done the heavy lifting during the course of this drive. Also, Jemias Griffin trying to help him out and get the 1st and goal situation established for Georgia Tech. So the ball on the 3-yard line.
You know, and showing us right now the difference between last year's offensive line and this year's at Georgia Tech. It's night and day. Brent Key, the offensive line coach, has done a fantastic job coaching them.
Tech takes its first time out of the half.
As they'll take it over and talk with Jeff Collins, Brent Key and company. But it's you know, you also have to have the beef in there. They've gained weight, those that have been around. Remember the smaller cutter guy crawling on the ground for so many years that they inherited with that triple option style of offense. And now they've got some transfers coming in. Big Hoss coming in from Tennessee, DeFour from Ole Miss, and they've got some young guys that have been fantastic for them as well. And it's a new look and quite a turnaround physically, the big guys up front.
And let's go down to Lindsay.
Hi, guys. Well, if you look at the Syracuse roster, there are a ton of athletic guys, but one of the freakish athletes is Josh Black, who actually got recognized by Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson when he posted on Twitter a video of him doing a running backflip, saying that he wanted to be The Rock's stunt double. The Rock responded by saying he's got his eye on him. Pretty awesome.
Wants to be The Rock's stunt double. I saw that he retweeted it. I didn't know he wanted to be a stunt double.
Jackets trying to slam it in. Big pile up at the goal line. Griffin had the football for Georgia Tech. Short of the goal line. 2nd and goal. These two teams have not played since 2013. And Georgia Tech rolled to a 56-0 win against the Orange. Sims. And Sims diving. to the end zone. Touchdown. There's the indication. It was Sims behind his line, and Georgia Tech drives it down the field for 6.
Well, Minahan, Johnson, Jordan Williams, DeFore, Quinney. Watch them, hats down, low pad level. You didn't always get that in the past from Georgia Tech. If you did, it was because they were chopping guys down at their feet. This time, they go chest to chest. Low pad level wins. An easy touchdown.
Sims had a rushing touchdown last week in the loss against UCF. He's got one this afternoon. And Georgia Tech able to score in response to the DeVito touchdown pass on the previous possession for the Orange. We've had some action and electricity inside the dome this afternoon, Mr. Bates.
We have. Took a little while to get started with our delay off the top, just to make sure everything was fine. I think everything's fine, and then some. Back and forth we go.
Hey, this is your first game this year. You're getting your first taste of some live action, James.
I know, and you know what? I feel like I fumbled with the telestrator earlier. I couldn't clear the screen. What a loser.
You know, you can always attribute things to 2020, no matter what happens. And by the way, James mentioned it in reference to our delay, about 30 minutes to about 12:30 for our kickoff, just past the bottom of the hour. And that was an abundance of caution taken by the league and the schools and everybody involved here inside the dome to make sure some of these Syracuse tests, there were 3 of them, we're told by the sports information department from Syracuse, that needed to be confirmed as negative. That was taken care of, and lucky for us, we're playing football.
Well, let's see if Georgia Tech can take care of the mistakes last time they covered a kick from Gavin Stewart, a kickoff.
This will be a bit of a short kick near the 22. Aaron Hackett on the play.
Works Landroid Robotic Lawnmower. Available at mylandroid.com. The future of lawn care is here.
Stop. I didn't even know they had those.
Hey, we don't need it inside the dome, James.
No.
Brand new field turf.
Have you ever seen one of those before? I've seen the vacuums, of course.
I thought that was part of the deal, that we get one to utilize in our own yards. Is that not? Was that not written into the contract somehow?
We should. We should.
Well, you should certainly go out and get one of those. And we appreciate you being with us for ACC football on your regional sports network, Fox Sports South, Raycom Sports. James Bates, Lindsey Rowley, I'm Tom Wormy. So glad to have you with us with our outstanding production staff, and that is Harris.
And you don't see that very often. A good shot on Taj Harris. So many guys step up and try to go for the kill shot, but he's so slick and slippery. Hey, I got a question, though. You think Marv Albert, Bob Costas, do they cut their own grass?
I cut their grass. I go to their houses and I use an automatic lawnmower. Whatever they want, I'll do it. Tucker. I'll tell you what, whatever Syracuse has asked of Tucker so far, James, he has done it with a couple of rushing TDs.
And therefore, that passing game has opened up. You can't be a one-trick pony, and here's extracurricular activity and a flag coming down late. Let's see what happens when they sort this out. But you got to have balance. You can't have a defense knowing that you just can't run the football on them.
After the play, personal foul and necessary roughness. Offense number 56. A 15-yard penalty. The down counts. It'll be second down.
That's Darius Tisdale, and that's a crusher. You know, that's one thing we had seen there early on, especially the first quarter from Jeff Collins' team, is, you know, some sloppiness, not only with the turnovers, but the penalties as well. For the most part, it was Dino Baber's squad that was really crisp and clean. Not a lot of those flags, and not a lot of those going back the other way. And this time, this is a huge one here as you're getting up near midfield. Now it's 2nd and 20.
DeVito. Tucker absorbing the contact of the first man. And then Wanye Thomas came up to meet Tucker near the 30-yard line.
Good job by Charlie Thomas first to slow him up. He won't get credited with the tackle as he's hanging on there for a little bit. Let his buddies come help him out. Just the decision, you know, the burst to go make it happen right now. So now a 3rd down and very long.
4 of 7 on third down in the game for the Orange. DeVito has the time, has to get out of that pocket as it deteriorates. He runs up near midfield, and DeVito out of bounds at the 49-yard line, just short of the line to gain, which is the 50.
Gosh, you almost had it, didn't they? They're quickly back over the ball, and they have to wait now this year for the defense to fully substitute, even if they're not substituting players. And there you go, backwards again. Oh, what a crusher. You're trying to get the defense to jump off sides.
Number 6, 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
Bergeron was offside. So now you're at 4th and 6.
You have the defense on their heels. DeVito almost had it on the ground himself, and they were late getting in there. You know, this is one thing that hurt this defense against UCF. The eyes over the sidelines in between plays. UCF, nobody does it better going tempo, NASCAR-type offense. Last weekend, it burnt them a couple times. That might have burned them right there, but instead, Syracuse just helping them out, and now they'll punt it away.
Nolan Cooney punts. Ezzard near his 10. Goes back to the 8 to make the fair catch. Let's recap the action from the first half after the 48-yard punt. How about Sean Tucker blasting up the middle?
Yeah, the freshman not going down until he gets to the paint. First touchdown in the new and improved dome. And oh, by the way, the second as well. There was a field goal by Schmidt in there as well, mixed in. And then Georgia Tech gets on the board. There's Taj Harris. And punching it in just moments ago, Jeff Sims, the freshman quarterback, at the goal line. This time he's got his back pretty much to his own goal line as they'll take over. So we near halftime, just over 3 minutes left. Look at his numbers.
He was the leading rusher a week ago for Georgia Tech. Primarily, they have used 3 different backs in Gibbs, Griffin, and Smith. This time it's Gibbs, number 21 for Georgia Tech. Inside of 3 minutes to go in our second quarter. 23-13 Orange. Just the 4th all-time meeting between the programs and the first trip to the state of New York for the Georgia Tech program in 95 years.
That was probably before a lot of these kids were born.
1925, they beat Penn State at Yankee Stadium, 16-7. Gibbs on the carry. Hannah in there to make the play.
He took the shot.
Be a 30-second timeout.
Earlier, might have just landed on that ball wrong and needed some help getting off the field. But since he's come back out there, he's been disruptive and making some big plays. And now you've got a 3rd down and long where you got to be really careful the way this defense has been hunting. Here from Syracuse, if you're Jeff Sims, Dave Patino, the offensive coordinator,
the Orange have a couple of interceptions to their credit. Josh Black makes the first one, James.
Well, Tony White, new defensive coordinator, drawing it up. They've been hungry. They've been getting in the face of the freshman quarterback, and why wouldn't you? True freshman. Get in there and put the pressure on them throughout the game, and for the most part, it's worked. Let's see what they got on a 3rd and 10.
They're going to run it. They've got enough. Past the 20. Gibbs will finally bring him down near the 30-yard line and beyond it, up to the 32.
Boy, what a punch to the gut for Syracuse. 3rd down and 10. You've got them backed up to their own goal line, and you let them run it right up the gut, right through your defense, and then some. To move the change, fresh set of downs, you were going to have a chance to get outstanding field position, maybe add on to that 10-point lead before halftime. But here comes Sims again.
Going down the sideline, it's too far for the receiver. Donica Sanders and Melifonwu was back there for the Orange.
Here you go. Credit that offensive line. Look at them blowing those bodies off. And you see that? That was big guys on little guys. And they got up and got wrapped onto them in a hurry. That next level, you saw Michael Jones getting run out of there. and a couple others. An offensive line made it look easy.
24 yards on that run. This will be a stutter step move from Gibbs up to the 37-yard line.
Tech with the 2 timeouts left. Syracuse with 1. Another 3rd down and 5. You better make them earn it this time. Defensively, one good thing I've noticed about Tony White's secondary, they know where those sticks are. 3rd down passing situation, they found that line. Right now, it's the 42. They'll understand where they're trying to break those routes off, where they're trying to get to. They go through the air.
Play clock down to 1. They just do snap it, or did they? A flag came out on the completion to Brown, but there is a flag on the play. Jackets had been 4 of 8 on 3rd down.
Illegal shift on the offense. 2 players shifting, not coming to a complete stop before the ball is snapped. It's a 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
Well, punch that you got one side, then you get it on the other. Here's the bottom of your screen. You see both guys moving 2 and 13 at the same time as he adjusts. It almost looked like the left tackle jump. So rather than a 1st down and keeping this defense on their heels, Jackets going back the other way. Another 3rd down and 10.
6 penalties for 30 yards against Georgia Tech in the game.
Don't turn the football over, though. Whatever it is, we've seen a couple times with the pressure there in the face of Jeff Sims as they try to throw it. He's let it go, and it's ended up in the Syracuse defense hands. You can't afford that here.
They're going to run it with Gibbs. Stumbles past the 35-yard line, but that's well short.
Syracuse takes its final timeout of the half.
And the Orange taking a timeout.
And you get a sense that's exactly what Georgia Tech's thinking there. Gosh, hey, let's get to halftime, even if it is 10 points. Let's not do anything crazy. Have them bring the pressure and force one more turnover. They almost had a 3rd in a blitz situation coming from the defense. So they run it on 3rd and 10 down near the goal line and come up with a 1st down. Not the case here, as they'll only get 5.
Today, the latest home opener in Dome history in this building that opened up in 1980. And the latest since 1970 for the Syracuse program. Of course, in 79, they did not have any home games because this building was under construction. So they open up the new and improved Dome. It's been exciting and entertaining. 10-point game right now with 1:22 to go. Johnson, the deep man, and Harvin to punt. Waning moments of our 2nd quarter. Johnson has to backtrack to the 10 and will go no further. 54 yards on the Harvin punt. Well covered by Georgia Tech. 1:15 on the clock in the Dome.
There's a flag down back at the line of scrimmage. I'd make them punt it again.
Team, too many men in the backfield. It's a 5-yard penalty. We'll re-kick.
Anytime you have a long snap involved, punter handling the football, even though you've got one of the best in the land in Presley Harvin, get yourself a better chance of some decent field position. Good job covering. That's another thing. When you've got a guy like Presley Harvin that can boom the ball so far, you got to have elite gunners. The guys on the outside here, so far this season, and again right there on that play, they have done such a good job of getting down there and covering those extra long punts.
Harvin's averaging 50 yards per punt in our game, and this one is another boomer. Oh, what a bounce. Inside the 5, it goes sideways and down inside the 5 at the 4-yard line. 65 yards on the punt. How did he make it do that? That is straight up sorcery from the punter from Georgia Tech.
He kicks it from his own 21, and just a bomb. It was such a strong punt that you thought that there was no way it was going to check up before the end zone. It'd be a touchback. And look, there's one of those gunners we were talking about earlier, Josh Blancato. Well, he might have gotten turned around a little bit as he tried to knock it in like he was going into the end zone. Maybe just practicing. He thought for sure, too, that he'd be doing that. Wow. You know, how many times you get a guy that's getting some pub nationally by punting good balls, and you feel like almost ego comes in a little bit, and they boom it into the end zone just because they don't want to, kick it out at the 20-yard line and pad their numbers a little bit.
Second time out of the half. Be a 30-second timeout.
65-yard punt as we remind you to stick with us at halftime from the Dome. Highlights and stats. Texas State, Boston College coming up later tonight, and we'll check out the storylines in the ACC. We had a storyline at the beginning of this game for sure as we delayed our start by about 30 minutes.
Hey, here's a storyline for you. And Coach Collins, there are some things he's 100 miles an hour with. Hey, this is called this. This is what we do here. This is what we do here. So you try to kind of grasp it. It's like trying to drink out of the fire hose. But the one thing on our call, the 10 for 10 club. Yeah, 10 for 10. We talk about extra. Go and give me 10 more yards here. Give me 10 more inches on this carry. And it adds up. And 10 has been such a big number in this offseason. And he said, we're down 10-0 in Tallahassee in enemy territory against FSU, and we come back. Well, 10 right now, as it looks like Syracuse may be content with running it out right here. It may just be that magic number in the ongoing theme and another storyline that has worked so well for them. The lucky number 10. They've come from behind on the road already this season, an upset win.
Timeout of the half. We full timeout.
10 is also the number of points that Syracuse has off of Georgia Tech turnovers in the first half. This first half brought to you by the number 10. Timeout on the field. 54 seconds to go.
I like this timeout here. You see a lot of teams say, hey, let's just take it to the house. Just like we talked about the extra snap that you were going to get back there from Presley Harvin. A lot of working pieces when you force a team to punt. And here you just got to get a stop, though, on 3rd down and 3. First things first, to force that punt.
DeVito hands it off. This is Tucker. He's got a first down.
Tucker on the carry at the 16-yard line.
Beyond the 15 to the 16 for Tucker. Both teams out of timeouts. And the clock moving, 38 seconds and rolling. DeVito. That's a wise decision, as that one ends up near the first row of the seats, which we hope in the near future will be occupied by some fans. But for now, we'll play without the crowd and the artificial sound in the Dome.
I'd like to see in the near future, perhaps, Lindsey Rowley getting off the spot and going and catching that ball. She could have made that play. I think Abby Labar might have made that play.
There's a lot of traffic around where that ball ended up, James.
Okay.
Plus she wants the distance from the Syracuse bench area.
Okay.
Keeping in line with the protocols set forth by the ACC.
She does have cheetah shoes on, so a little extra speed. We'll work on it.
The whole season is going to be a work in progress.
Yes.
And everybody adapting, and what a tremendous job by our crew in the ACC and both teams today. As you know, we had a 30-minute delay roughly prior to kickoff. And they wanted to use an abundance of caution to make sure all the Syracuse tests were in order prior to this game.
Just to get here. We made it through one half of a fun football game, too.
Absolutely amazing. Big first half for Tucker and DeVito. Tucker had 93 yards and a couple of TDs, and Syracuse and Dino Babers has a 10-point lead at halftime as they head to their respective dressing rooms inside the new and improved Carrier Dome on the Syracuse campus. Sims had a rushing TD and threw a 24-yard score to Gibbs as well as we go down to Lindsay.
Coach, Sean Tucker. Sean Tucker had his first and second touch
really excited about that. We've got to see if we can continue that in the second half.
Really able to put a lot of pressure on Jeff Sims. What'd you like out of your team defensively?
So far, they have been able to put a lot of pressure on. We got to do a better job of tackling, and we got to do a better job of covering on the back end on some of those PI calls.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
So Tucker went to 100 yards with that last carry right before the end of the half. 15 carries on 100 yards. James, what a first half of football.
A lot of excitement. Big plays offensively, defensively as well. Hey, let's take another little break and come back for quarters 3 and 4.
It's Time Report. It's brought to you by your local Toyota dealer. We move from the Syracuse quad area to the dome in the background. 23-13. The brand new steel truss on top of the dome. This is the first game in the newly refurbished facility. Tom Wormy, James Bates. We had to wait about 30 minutes, James, when we kicked it off. Very exciting first half.
Was that the quad area? Because that's where you used to do CrossFit in college?
Running up and down those paths all day long. Absolutely. Going to class.
Okay.
Yeah. What'd you think of the first half?
Oh, it was exciting. I was so excited. First game here in 2020 for me. So excited to kick it off, and then we had to wait. Like all dressed up and nowhere to go. And, I know if you're a head coach in the locker room right now, you're a little bit upset because of the sloppiness. It ended up being balanced a little bit. Syracuse turned a little bit of slop there towards the end, but really sloppy for Jeff Collins' team. But it was fun to watch, and it was fun to be a part of, and really exciting to see Georgia Tech battle back, and then Syracuse to see them step up offensively especially.
So far this season, the Orange, very few offensive highlights, but they had plenty in the first half, and Sean Tucker got them rolling.
Yeah, Sean Tucker, how key is that, the freshman running back? And look at this effort here. The first down and a whole lot more getting into the paint. First of 2 rushing touchdowns, and that's what you had to do for Syracuse. You had to run the football. Defense keeps doing what they're doing. Tony White, the new defensive coordinator, has them hunting together and having fun putting the ball back in the offense's hands. Here's Sean Tucker with his second touchdown. And when you're able to run the football, you get a defense on their heels. They don't have to guess when you're just one-dimensional. And here defensively, Georgia Tech taking advantage of the Jeff Sims, the young quarterback, that nice touch athleticism by him to get out there and to toss it in. And here's a little bit of that balance for Syracuse. 1 of 3 catches here in the first half for Taj Harris. But I think most importantly, it's 128 yards on the ground for Syracuse, and that has let them breathe a little bit in the passing game with the blocking and, of course, with the quarterback play by Tommy DeVito there as we see that last touchdown by Georgia Tech to pull within 10.
Sim said that rushing TD. As we look at our first half stats, they're brought to you, James, by Liberty Mutual Insurance. And Syracuse coming into this game, just 1 score on offense, but they've been in the end zone multiple times so far.
And they had been averaging 2.8 yards a play on offense, which is just ridiculous. I mean, last in the league in so many categories offensively, but that is not the case so far here today. But they're going to have their hands full in the second half, and we should have a good one.
They've done it on the ground and through the air, and Georgia Tech is not backing down one bit. 10-point gain at halftime on a beautiful day in Syracuse, New York. We'll come back to the Dome in just a moment.
Fall weekend here in Chestnut Hill as Boston College gets ready for its home opener against Texas State. BC has had so many special quarterbacks through the years, but only one has a statue outside the stadium. Doug Flutie is a legend in these parts, the school's all-time leading passer, Heisman Trophy winner, Hail Mary hero. But if you had judged him by what he did in his first career start, you wouldn't have expected the statue. In that game, October of 1981 against Navy, Flutie threw for only 118 yards, and the Eagles lost by 15 points. Contrast that with what new BC starter Phil Jurkovec did last week, and they might name the stadium for Jurkovec one day. Jurkovec, the Notre Dame transfer, threw for 300 yards at Duke last Saturday in a 26-6 win for the Eagles. It was an impressive performance, especially with new head coach Jeff Hafley coaching his first game and getting his first win. Chapter 2 for Jurkovec, Hafley, and the Eagles tonight against the Texas State Bobcats, who last week also won by 20 points on the road in their Sun Belt Conference opener. Charles Arbuckle, Abby Labar, and I have the call for you at 6 o'clock tonight. But for now, let's get you back to Syracuse, where I understand the Tom Wormy statue is going to be unveiled any day now. Guys?
Evan, do not hold your breath on that one. I would never expect such an honor. But it is a 10-point game. We got a ball game here in Syracuse, New York. Your local Toyota dealer, the Syracuse Orange, leading the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets 23-13 in just the fourth all-time meeting between the teams. They haven't played in 7 years. When Syracuse joined the ACC back in 2013, James, we weren't sure exactly what we might get from the Syracuse team. They put some points on the board, but Georgia Tech hanging in there in the first half.
Yeah, and the one thing, too, that showed in the first couple games with Syracuse, I didn't see them rallying around the family, so to speak. Somebody make a big play, you get a guy go over there, pat him on the butt, and kind of go over the sidelines. The fire's there on the sidelines. They're celebrating together and having a good time together, and that makes me happy for any college football player going through all this stuff that they've been through. They should at least have fun on Saturdays, and they look like they're having fun. They'd like to celebrate with a victory here today.
And you know Georgia Tech is going to hang around. They've already beaten Florida State on the road and then at home against UCF. That's a 7-point game early in the fourth quarter for Jeff Collins and the Yellow Jackets.
Absolutely. They've been there before, and that's one thing that's impressed me with the young players, not just Jeff Sims, the quarterback, but they haven't really flinched and gotten all, herky-jerky when things don't go their way. Things definitely didn't go their way here early in the first half. They're down 10 right now, and they have been right there before.
Late rushing touchdown by Sims to close the gap to 10 as we check out the news and notes, James, around the ACC and well represented in the top 25.
Absolutely. And that Florida State team, they haven't played since that loss to Georgia Tech a couple weeks ago. Going to take on Miami, and, that rivalry game. Watch out, Miami. You're pretty good. But it is the Noles after all. That'll be a fun one tonight. And North Carolina, gosh, it seems like forever until they play. They're off again this week. Mac Brown and company going to have to start what feels like a new season next week after their win in week 1 over Syracuse.
All right, let's go down to the field and check in with Lindsay.
Jeff Sims struggled a little bit early. What'd you talk to your quarterback about at halftime?
Yeah, we've been here before. We've been down 10-0 on the road at halftime, and we found a way to fight our way back. We've got to do the same thing again. Cannot have the unforced errors, whether it be turnovers or whether it be procedural deals. We just talked about that, and we got to have energy and juice from everybody on the sideline. Play it one play at a time.
Defensively, what are you looking for out of your team in order to hold Syracuse at 23?
Yeah, we just got to continue to keep playing, put the ball down. Whatever the situation is, we got to rally. We got to tackle at a high level. We got to knock them back, and we got to keep them in front of us.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks,
Tom?
Lindsay, thank you. Jeff Collins' team allowed 21 points in the fourth quarter against UCF and lost that game. Sean Tucker blasting up the middle and the first touchdown in the new and improved Carrier Dome. Just outside of the Hall of Languages on the Syracuse University campus, and a 10-point halftime lead for the Orange on a wonderful fall afternoon here in upstate New York as we revisit the Ford keys to the game with James Bates.
All right, ain't no half-stepping. Well, it's hard to kind of gauge and measure the effort. You can't slow up Georgia Tech, but you also can't give up 23 points again here in this half. And you're going to protect the quarterback. They certainly have, after giving up 7 sacks in each of the first 2 games, just allowing 1 there in the first half. Better play by the offensive line. A running game to mix in there now to keep the defense on its heels. Tommy DeVito playing some pretty good football there in the first half. We should have an exciting second half ahead of us.
Gibbs watches that one sail into the end zone. To start the third quarter, Georgia Tech will have the football. 1-1 on the season for Jeff Collins. The win was September 12th, first game of the season on the road at Florida State, 16-13. They rolled up 438 yards of total offense in that one. By the way, in that game, James, Sims threw for 277 yards against Florida State, the most by a Georgia Tech quarterback in 6 years. How about that?
Well, but look where they're coming from. Last year maybe, but you're in a transition year. So
you're right. Gibbs near the 30. Did the ball come out? Some of the Syracuse players were claiming that they have possession. Gibbs on the carry.
Good job by Gibbs to fall back on it, but an excellent job. I couldn't see the number. Let me see if I can see this cornerback over here fighting. Right there, boom, it's Trill Williams. I mean, uses his hands to separate and then comes out to make the tackle. Big time player.
Yes, sir.
You know, these safeties, Cisco, who's not playing again, by the way, today, he was injured in pregame warm-ups, ran into another player. He's on the sidelines in street clothes. So Trill Williams, that dynamic safety duo, he's the only one out there, and he hasn't disappointed. He's fun to watch, the junior from Yonkers, New York. All right, Syracuse D, what you got now on a 3rd and short?
The rush up past the 35 and plenty for the first down for Griffin on the rush.
Well, Jack Coco does an excellent job. Coco, the long snapper that they moved over to tight end and lost all that weight in the offseason, changed that body type where he could play some tight end and H-back. He's lined up in the backfield right now to the right. Going to come across and block again.
Past the 40 for Griffin. The sophomore from Rome, Georgia. Goes 5'10", 218. He ran into Kenton Arku.
There he is. Coco de Rock. Stick figure fans like that. And Jeff Collins is a stick figure fan. And Coco has rocked a couple guys there, blocking and leading the way when they needed him the most.
From the 42. Sims dancing with all day, escapes the pocket, past midfield, and taken down short of the Syracuse 40. Jeff Sims on the run for 15 yards, and those sticks are moving for Georgia Tech.
Well, and there you go. So many times in the first half, and 2 to be exact, it wasn't there, so he stood in there a little bit too long, tried to force a pass, doesn't panic, tucks it, and then smoothly gets out around the corner for a first down.
Now wants to throw over the middle. And a disconnect with his intended receiver, Jalen Camp. Garrett Williams back defensively for Syracuse. Second year for Jeff Collins. 2 years as the head coach at Temple prior to coming to the confines in Atlanta. Bobby Dodd Stadium, home of the Jackets. That'll be Smith. And that'll bring up 3rd down.
Steph Thompson, just a freshman. This linebacking core for Syracuse, very young, but very active. A lot of big playability. Michael Jones, Jeff Kenton-Arku, and that guy right there from Charlotte, North Carolina. 7 tackles in the opener against North Carolina. 6 and a sack and a forced fumble against Pitt. And stuff in the run right there, forcing a 3rd down and long. Let's see if they bring some heat. Just 3 down linemen, but 2 backers walking up pre-snap.
5 of 10 on 3rd down in the game for Georgia Tech. Opening possession, second half. Sims got rid of it. Too high, near the 20, and intercepted. Hanna with the pick for Syracuse.
Boy, good coverage in the secondary by all parties. And Hanna actually had slipped down to the turf, was just getting back to his feet, and look what I found. Ball thrown too high and hard as the pressure starts to collapse, the pocket collapsing on Jeff Sims. The blitz finally gets there a little bit late, but better late than never. And that's interception number 3 for the freshman.
3 in the game now for the Orange. Black and Hanna. And this one is complete. This is Johnson past midfield and tackled down. Johnson on the move. Thomas had to make the play. 37 yards for the Orange.
Well, it's going to be Caleb Oliver in coverage, and he's caught peeking into the backfield. When you're beat, hey, you get caught peeking in the backfield and nothing good can happen. You just got to put your head down and turn and burn and try to go cut him off. A big play.
Tucker's got nowhere to go. He was wrapped up immediately. Jordan Dominic.
Yeah, Polk County. You talk about high school football in Florida, and it's usually you think about the speed and the finesse, but when you talk Polk County, that's like Ohio in the middle of Florida, like just blue-collar, tough guys. George Jenkins High School down there in Lakeland.
Second down over the middle. It appeared that Hackett got tangled up with his defender Carpenter, and a flag has come out of the play. By the way, Trill Williams has the other interception of the game for the Orange to go along with Black.
Holding. Defense number 2. 10-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
And Hannah. Carpenter on the penalty, James.
Let's see if we can see it up top there. There you go, just grabbing a hold. He was beat. You let that cushion break down. You let that body too far into you, you're still in your back pedal or standing flat-footed, which seemed to be the case right there with Tariq. And you got to do something. Otherwise, it's a touchdown, so probably saving a touchdown there, but the seniors got to be more disciplined than that and not let that cushion break down. So give them a freebie on first down.
From just inside the 35 of Georgia Tech, Tucker bouncing outside, falls near the 30. Carpenter came up to make the play. Sean Tucker, that first run and first TD in the new and improved dome of 38 yards for Tucker to open the scoring right up the middle in the first quarter. Also added a 5-yard touchdown run.
We've talked a lot about Tony White, the defensive coordinator. It's a new sheriff on offense as well, Sterling Gilbert, as they look over and get the play call from him.
Second down for Syracuse. Going to be a loss on the play as Tucker got it. So his numbers are going to drop just a little bit, but he's the first Syracuse back since Eric Dungy back in 2018 to run for over 100 yards, and that's Dominic getting to the sideline in some discomfort.
Yeah, we're just talking about him. He's had a pretty good series and obviously in a lot of pain, able to hop over there on his own to get to the staff, but a big stop by him in that defense there on second down to drop him for a loss and now face a third down and 10.
Timeout Syracuse.
Syracuse takes his first time out of the half.
9:49. We will also step aside. It'll be 3rd and 10 for Dino Babers, and the Orange up by 10 against the visiting Yellow Jackets.
CPI is more than a security.
The football is brought to you by Cook's Pest Control and Georgia's Natural Gas. We're Georgia's Natural Gas.
Who are those handsome guys?
62 and the Sandman. Oh, man.
The water boy, James Bates. You took him out. Oh, you hit somebody?
No. I got hit.
You got hit.
In the first, here, we'll let the real football go. Oh, good. Give us a chance to talk here.
Harris cut the rod.
In Bobby Boucher's first game, I was an offensive lineman for West Mississippi. And that was just so cool to be a part of all of that. And I was the guy who he intercepted the ball instead of running for a touchdown. He said, wait, 62, there you are. And then he drop kicked me when I got to the end zone. 62. I love my mama very much, and now you know that. Tackling fuel, Bobby Boucher. And so we bring that up. But we were talking about that with Dino Babers. Oh, gosh. Here, let's let him kick. We got some football.
We got field goal. James Bates in the movie, The Water Boy, with Adam Sandler. I just chuckle every time I see those photos.
And Kathy Bates. We are not relation.
53-yard attempt. Schmidt. He's already made one. That's a bit of a low liner.
I think they got a piece of defensive.
You would think, based on the trajectory.
Yeah, and he looks a little bit upset. Maybe feels like he came off his foot low. But one of the best kickers in football the past couple of years. Schmidt and a tough guy. Well, maybe not. Dino Babers asked him to talk about his tough guys. He said, believe it or not, Schmidt is. So real quick about Coach Babers, we talked about that. He tells this long story about how he was coaching somewhere in the Midwest and they needed somebody to come in and play a part for a basketball movie. And he had to go home. He wanted to, but he had to go home. Another guy ended up getting it.
underneath, no gain. But another coach there on his staff ended up taking the part. And then, he's built this all up, and he goes, that movie, guys, Hoosiers. And we're like, wow. Oh, my gosh, that would have been so cool. And then, 5 minutes later, somebody tells me, no, I'm sorry, guys, it was actually Blue Chips.
I mean, not exactly in the same category as far as sports movies go.
Oh, man.
Cut back run.
Wow.
Past the 15. Look at Gibbs. He's to the orange side of midfield. 18 yards on the run.
Wow, showing you he can scoot. First action last week. Watch Coco de Rock leading the way. Good job. They're on the edge to help, and a good job by that left side of the offensive line again. Up near midfield.
Sims has a man. Open over the middle. Ezzard. That is enough for another first down. They're going to move those chains. 15 yards on the pass play to Ezzard.
A little bit of a tempo now. Jeff Collins says, I want to do tempo, but not to the extent to where we're making mistakes. And here they rush it through, and here comes a late flag down, too.
Syracuse tackle made by number 32, Marlo Wax.
Well, we talked about some of those other guys, Jones, Canton, Arku, and Thompson at the linebacker. Marlo Wax is one of them, too, who's come in and played really hard. And is that Trill Williams that's down now? I should hate to see that. Remember,
it is Williams, number 6, has an interception in our game.
Personal foul, illegal blindside block, offense number 11. It's a 15-yard penalty, first down.
11 is Ezzard for Georgia Tech. They attend to Trill Williams, junior from Yonkers, New York. Interception of the first quarter.
I'm glad he's all right. That's Andre Cisco, the All-American. Unavailable here today. Here's the all-22. Ezzard, I guess, coming from up top. And there's the hit up there as well, you see. So blindside, you got to be protecting those players. And you got to be able to see those numbers on the front. They're so far away from the play, too. It's a silly penalty. The sophomore Ezzard that transferred from Miami. So, again, momentum. And it doesn't matter if it's a personal foul or a 5-yard penalty. Momentum. You fought so hard, Georgia Tech, to get it. You shoot yourselves in the foot with a silly penalty, and you're going back the other way, and it's 1st and 25 now.
Gibbs. Flag is out behind the play as Gibbs gets up near midfield.
Syracuse tackle made by number 19, Montana.
Jeff Collins put that mask up like he had some words. It's nice to wear the mask in grocery stores.
Holding, offense number 34. It's a 10-yard penalty, first down.
You can talk to yourself a little bit more, You can put it up there. Looks like it's Coco there. Left side of the screen. Yeah, boom. And it's right there on Jones. Michael Jones getting held right in front of the official. Jones is slippery. Teams have had a really tough time blocking him so far this year.
1st and 35, and they'll run it up the middle to the 45-yard line with Smith. 28 for the Jackets.
Syracuse tackle by number 93,
Okechukwu had the tackle from the 45, 2nd down. And those sticks are a mile away near the 27-yard line of the orange, and now flags out again.
Well start. Offense, number 54. It's a 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
Hey, maybe it's just the Carrier Dome. We used to always say, oh, it's the crowd. It gets so loud. And there's nobody in the seats right now, but still guys jumping off sides. And again, costly. When you've gone back-to-back penalties, you got to be careful. You almost get a sense you just want to, hey, get out of this one alive. Not try to do too much.
Sims through the progression. Almost stumbled. Kept the footing, throws it downfield. Adjusting the football and making the catch. Malachi Carter. Now it's still well short of the first down marker, and for the Orange, Garrett Williams is slow to get up. As Carter had the tackle.
Well, how about that? He looked like he was down for the count there in the pocket, finds a way to escape, then on the run, puts it up there where there's not just 1, 2, but 3, maybe even 4 as you have another defender coming over, where only Malachi Carter can go back and get it. And how about the job by Malachi to go back and adjust and put those hands on it and tuck it down. The junior from Lawrenceville, Georgia, and another Orange football player on the field. We'll check on it.
So I'm going to hold on promoting you this quarter.
Drop the top.
Football is brought to you by the Works Landroid Robotic Lawnmower. Tech 23-13. Just the 4th all-time meeting.
Wormy, my man. It's a pretty big 3rd down right here.
5 of 11, James, for Georgia Tech in this situation so far in our game.
Don't give him a freebie by jumping offside, Syracuse.
Malachi Carter had that last catch for Georgia Tech to present this 3rd and 4. Smith carries some Orange defenders with him, and that is a first down, 27-yard line or so.
Quinny, DeFore, Minahan, the left side of that line. Coco Day Rock coming around there on the edge. How about that? What was it at one point? With all the penalties, it was first down and forever. And 35. Big pass and catch by Malachi Carter.
Gibbs. Just inside the 25-yard line. Hanna with the tackle. Inside of 6 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. So glad that you're with us from the refurbished Carrier Dome. First game under the new roof. And on the brand new field turf, Sims rolling right and throwing, and it's completed out of bounds inside the 15. He hit Malachi Carter.
Looked like maybe Leon Lowry, I think the number over there. Remember, it was Garrett Williams that was injured. That's Neil Nunn. Neil Nunn in there, the cornerback, filling in for Garrett Williams, who's played so well, but they lose him. You knew it was only a matter of time before Dave Patno, the offensive coordinator, was going to go that way, and it pays off. Fresh set of downs one more time and able to get a first down inside the 4.
Georgia Tech entering the CPI security red zone, and the back will stumble. Griffin couldn't stay upright. Second and 12. Loss on the play for Jeff Collins and Georgia Tech. Freshman Sims will hand it off. Gibbs to the 10. Powers his way inside the 10. Jahmyr Gibbs, the freshman from Dalton, Georgia.
Good running by Gibbs, but even better, it's the teamwork. That line, of course, look at Coco. Jack Coco getting a hand on Hanna there, and then you had another block from the receiver, Jalen Camp. Get it up there closer. Good job to fight and to stay home and to force that 3rd down and 5 now. And it's Griffin back in the backfield.
6 of 12 on 3rd down before they can snap it. Whistles halt the play from the 9.
Georgia Tech takes its first time out of the half.
Timeout on the field with 4:02 to go. Georgia Tech moving the football and trailing by 10. And we're back to Syracuse, New York in just a moment. ACC football is presented by CPI Security. In front of Carnegie Library, or Carnegie, however you prefer that pronunciation.
Was that your car in college?
No wheels in college. My feet were my only carriage.
Ah, I like it.
What a 4 years, though. Enjoyed it thoroughly and thrilled to be back at the Dome with James Bates, Lindsey Rowley, and our outstanding ACC football production crew with you from the Carrier Dome.
A few moments ago, we had that 3rd down and 4. Big 3rd down conversion by Georgia Tech. And here we're looking at a same situation. They can't get a 1st down, don't have to score down here. They'll huddle up after the timeout. Remember last time they went a fake on the jet sweep and then went to the left side. You got to think, too, setting up for a nice play-action pass at some point in this 3rd and must-have type situation.
Where's all that sound coming from, James?
I think it's from the quad, where people have gathered 6 feet apart.
Again, no fans in the building. We've got the artificial sound and music being integrated into the broadcast. Sims a little play action. Oh, he was pursued and taken down. Michael Jones wrapping up Sims.
Wow. Well, that's exactly what I was talking about. Hey, they're going to run it. Play action pass. But you know what? Tony White had his guys ready. Excellent job defensively. There's the linebacker, Michael Jones, in the backfield to make sure that it's not an option to run it out there by Jeff Sims. And nothing has been easy when it comes to field goals this season for Georgia Tech and Jeff Collins. They've got the short yardage field goal kicker in there right now, Gavin Stewart.
Stewart, 26 yards away. Orange get a piece of it. First attempt on the season by Stewart. Syracuse blocks it.
Big. See who gets their hand up there. That 42 in there, it looked like. Tyrell Richards. Oh, it's another 42. Oh, no, that is Richards. Okay.
You'll be happy to know, James, there's only 142 on the roster.
Well, there you go.
So there you go.
Or maybe even so low that it went off of one of his own guys. And that's why on the first touchdown of the game scored, they tried to fake an extra point. A lot of blocks here this year in the kicking game.
DeVito's pass is complete to Dino Babers.
Babers got it.
No official yardage on the play. 2nd down.
Pressure was coming.
He was wide open. There was a breakdown in the secondary there, James. The expression will tell you, though, he was not the one he wanted to catch that pass.
And Jeff Collins got to cover him, right? Clayton, Antonius Clayton, with the pressure that time on DeVito. Good to see him back in action.
2nd down for DeVito. Pocket crumbles. He throws it out of bounds, and a flag comes out. As he was on the run, Quez Jackson on the move, trying to track down DeVito. Predictably, hold against the offense, according to Mike Roach, our referee.
Right in there, you're going to get it. 58. Tackle.
Holding. Offense number 56. The penalties decline. It'll be 3rd down.
Or maybe that's 56. Sorry, Tisdale. He's had a couple penalties here in this one. Junior from Lackawanna, New Jersey. Now they're going the wrong way. So a 3rd down and 10. Georgia Tech's got to find that 1st down stick. It's right at the 30. Where are they trying to get to here?
Quick pressure on DeVito, and his pass is behind Nykeem Johnson. Clock stops, 3:38. Syracuse offensive unit headed to the sideline. Punting situation. Georgia Tech's going to get the ball back.
You see these defenses coming out here with some of these halftime adjustments and paying off.
So DeVito now, James, 9 of 17 through the air, 128 yards, and the touchdown pass to Taj Harris of 47 yards in the 2nd quarter. Ezra, the deep man, and the punt forthcoming from Nolan Cooney. Ezra meets it at the 30. And about the 32 with forward progress on a 50-yard punt from Nolan Coonan. Now a message from Works Bojangles.
Feed the whole family with a big bow box. It's bow time.
Yeah, man. You know, that would be a good combo there. What do they call it? A collab? A Works Bojangles collab where it's just a robot that brings me Bojangles.
Both very proud sponsors of our broadcast.
Yes, let's make it happen.
Yes. Works has the whole lawnmower thing we've been talking about. That goes by itself. And then you got Bojangles. And you've got 1st and 10 for Georgia Tech. Sims' pass is caught. That's Carter. Lee Koba had the tackle. Powerful hit by Koba to stop Carter. Smith the back. Smith past midfield into the 2nd and 3rd levels and down near the 35-yard line. He'll be stopped at the 36.
Well, for Yellow Jacket fans, this went from being a big uh-oh to oh yeah. I mean, watch the snap a little bit off, and Smith almost runs into it, knocks it down. You'd think the defense would have an extra chance to get over there and get in position, but it's out the gate, a nice big hitter.
28 yards for Smith, and he's going to lose yardage here. Nowhere to go with Dante Smith.
Cody Roscoe, defensive end, getting back there and dropping it. Big loss.
Loss of 8, James. Call it 2nd and 17. Latter stages, 3rd quarter. Jeff Sims, freshman quarterback from Jacksonville, Florida. He's got Griffin to his right. Sims, deep ball, open man, and out of bounds inside the 5. Over the shoulder catch of Marion Brown, and he was open.
Wide open. You had a defender fall down. They bring extra bodies. A good job up front by picking him up. And even if the defender doesn't fall down, Brown is going to be wide open. It looks like a mix-up even before that.
Running towards the goal line and in for the score. Jemias Griffin. After the long pass play to Brown, Griffin crashes into the end zone for Jeff Collins and a touchdown.
Wow, Collins guys just continuing to fight. Stumble here and there, but they continue to scrap. And did you see him as he sent his place kicker out there, Gavin Stewart, pointing up, get it up, get it up, get it up.
Stewart makes it.
Syracuse 23, Georgia Tech 20.
So that closes the gap to 3. And the rush by Griffin.
Well, still, that extra point try was a little too interesting as we're separated by 3 now. And there's Jemias Griffin, who not only does a great job there in the backfield, going down low and getting that snap. Jeff Sims still getting it in the belly of the sophomore from Rome, Georgia. And Griffin has been key on special teams as well.
2-yard touchdown run by Jemias Griffin. He's in the end zone with 54 yards to his credit. And that long pass play from Jeff Sims to Marion Brown. If he could have kept his footing, he could have just walked into the end zone. He was that open on the play. Went out of bounds at the 2-yard line, and then it's Griffin to take it in.
Here's the long pass again. Do you know how much heck this guy is going to get from his teammates when they go in and watch this film as a team? He just couldn't, I mean, my goodness, not like he wanted to step out, but he just could not get his momentum changed. A heck of a catch. Beautiful throw. Those seem to be the hardest so many times, but his teammates are going to razz him.
It was a 41-yard pass play, and then the finishing touches from 2 yards away by Griffin. Another short kick, and Hackett for the second time in the game playing the short kick up near the 35-yard line. Big disparity in this quarter, James. Georgia Tech, 186 total yards. The Syracuse Orange, after a successful first half, just 35 yards in total.
Well, and Georgia Tech learning their lesson, too. Not wanting to kick it back to Nykeem Johnson again after he really made him hurt after the long kickoff return. They've just been sky kicking it, and a good job of getting down there and covering and dropping the receiver right where he catches it both times here after that big hitter.
Orange in search of their first win of the season. Losses against North Carolina and Pitt. Here's Tucker.
Ball carried by number 34, Sean Tucker.
Tucker out past the 40-yard line. The 41 or 2 for Tucker. Couple of TD runs, and we're closing in on a minute to go in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, things go their way, and they want to get right back over it with the giddy up over the ball. A little bit of tempo now for DeVito and company.
Only scoring that TD from Georgia Tech just a moment ago. This pass complete. And getting away from the defenders, Garrett Williams on the play. Correction. Catch made for the Orange by Anthony Queeley. Queeley on the catch.
Tackled on the play by number 1.
Here comes that NASCAR one more time. UCF gave him some trouble last week.
DeVito deep, in stride and on schedule, and a touchdown for the Orange. Nykeem Johnson.
When things get going good, they like to go fast here in Syracuse, New York. And that looks pretty to Dino Babers. Sterling Gilbert, his offensive coordinator. And Nykeem Johnson and company. Wow, the quick strike to answer after this game was a 3-point game, trying to make it 10 once again.
43 yards on the play. There is a flag on the extra point. 43 yards, DeVito to Nykeem Johnson.
Substitution infraction on the defense. 12 men on the field. The penalties decline. Try is good.
So the halftime lead was 10. Georgia Tech scored to close it to 3. Syracuse goes deep. DeVito and Johnson combining on the touchdown pass, and it's 30-20 Orange late in the third.
Offensive line has done a better job in this game, but a lot of it has to do with the running of Sean Tucker. You know, remember, 2 of the top running backs for this offense opted out. They're not playing, and they won't have them. So you got these other guys. You're trying to find somebody that can be your workhorse, your go-to. Jordan's a good back. We've seen Pierre as well. But Sean Tucker, he's energized this offense and this team. And this building, man, I can't believe how loud the security guards are.
They were loud after that play as DeVito uncorked one. Perfect timing as he hit Nykeem Johnson in stride. 43 yards on the touchdown for the Orange. 30-20, the advantage with 40 seconds to go in the third. Gibbs is deep. He won't return that one. We had just documented, James, moments before that long TD pass, the disparity in yardage between the two teams. Syracuse with a big chunk play for the TD.
Well, and it came with the tempo. It came with that NASCAR offense. Yeah, you hear about it a lot with Dino Babers. That's what he came up here for in Syracuse. But UCF, also one of the best teams in the country when it comes to running that. Andrew Thacker, Jeff Collins' defensive coordinator, told us, you know, it's hard to simulate that in practice. There are so many things we've had to, you know, pick and choose what we're going to do and take things away, make sure we don't get guys hurt. They weren't communicating with the sidelines and looking over to me, and Syracuse certainly taking advantage of it.
Pressure on Sims, completes the pass. Sanders made the play for Georgia Tech. Brief post-whistle discussion on that Syracuse sideline.
Yeah, am I right? I think it's no longer an electronic whistle here today. I've seen them blow it a couple times, which people were complaining. It's too hard to hear.
Sims the handoff, and nothing available behind the line for the running back, Gibbs. And so that'll do it for the third. 30-20. Syracuse with the lead after that quick strike TD at the end of the third quarter. It is a 10-point lead for the Orange after 3. Minutes with a 10-point difference. Syracuse led by 10 at halftime. Couple of TDs late in the quarter by Georgia Tech, and Syracuse 30-20, James, as we start the fourth and welcome you to the fourth. And that Syracuse offense had scored just 16 points in the first 2 games, 30 so far with 1 period to play.
Yeah, they're starting to look like one of the better offenses in the league, and this is what a lot of people expected out of them. You know, and even without those 2 backs, they've done such a good job, those guys filling in here so far in the running game to get it going and to give DeVito and company some help. Both teams answering when they get a punch, they're punching right back, though.
And James, you see what the Orange did right away. That's Sean Tucker with that burst for the first score.
Yeah, Tucker, the freshman, he's been the difference maker, I think, when you look back on this day and this offense, because you don't want to be one-dimensional, and you can't be one-dimensional. They haven't been able to run the football at all this year. They're running it today, and oh, hey, by the way, that makes it a little bit easier throwing the football. Guys like Taj Harris, Nykeem Johnson, who had an outstanding kickoff return earlier.
TD passes of 47 and 43 yards for Tommy DeVito. And we thank you for watching the fourth from Syracuse.
After 80 years,
the Syracuse campus. And the first home game of the year inside the Dome for the Orange, and a 10-point lead out in front of the Hall of Languages as you come up University Boulevard here in Syracuse, New York. Ready to roll with the fourth quarter. Tom Warby, James Bates, Lindsey Rowley, and our outstanding production crew with you inside the Dome. Georgia Tech has the football. Second down from its own 35-yard line. After the late TD by the Orange in the third quarter, incomplete near midfield. Brown, the intended receiver, and he's shaken up on the play. Marion Brown, the sophomore from Tampa, Florida.
Open, but thrown just a little low and looked like a catch that could have been made. It may have been even as he tried to plant his foot in there and go after that ball.
They'll attend to Brown, and we'll step aside for just a moment early in our fourth quarter.
One, two, three,
And while we have a moment, we take a look at today's catch of the game, brought to you by Bass Pro Shops. Thanks to Nykeem Johnson.
Well, not only a catch of the game, but a cast of the game, if you will, since it's Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's. He casted it out there. Didn't just throw it. And, you know, sometimes you go down to Florida, a lot of these kids are from Florida, and you're flood tide fishing when they got the extreme high tides. It's got to be a perfect cast. You can't just throw it out there like, you know, fishing with a hot dog on the end of your hook like you do sometimes there in South Carolina. You got to be precise, and that's what DeVito was right there.
By the way, 43 yards on the cast by DeVito to Nykeem Johnson. And they are tending to the Georgia Tech player who went down on the previous play, and that was Marion Brown. He was the intended receiver, couldn't make the play near midfield, and now being assisted by the training and medical staff for Georgia Tech, and Jeff Collins in there as well.
Poor guy, he's the one that had the big catch earlier. Here's another look at it. Ball thrown low, and he's walking off on his own right now, but you could just tell by his body language immediately when that training staff got over there to help him that he's in a lot of pain and very upset. Marion Brown gained 16 pounds in the offseason. Hopefully the sophomore from Tampa Jefferson's okay. He'll tend to the dragon while his teammates go over there and try to do something on a 3rd and 10.
Sims escapes, low pass, caught. Gibbs tackled almost immediately. Michael Jones.
Michael Jones, this is his guy. He misses, and it may be about a 40-yard gain. Right there, stride for stride. Not going to fool him, and you isolate on a guy that's a sophomore. Not a ton of experience, but a ton of big plays already. 2 interceptions, 3 takeaways already on the year. That's just being a good football player. Good job by Jones.
Harvin punts it. Johnson ranging to his right. Fair catch, 21-yard line, 42 yards on the punt. Early moments of our fourth quarter. Just to recap, slight delay prior to the game. Health and safety, the #1 priority. We waited about 30 minutes to make sure we had all the testing in order. And then the teams came out on the field. Had to hold our breath for a little bit there, James Bates, but everybody was accounted for, and luckily we're playing football today, and we're playing football this season in the ACC, thanks to all the hard work done by the league and its member schools. 11 of 21 through the air for DeVito. Give him another completion. Short yardage Johnson. A couple of TD passes for DeVito as well. This has to be promising for the Syracuse coaching staff to watch Tommy DeVito compared to last week, James, when you certainly have to say he struggled today. A couple of long TD passes, and he'll toss this one out to Tucker.
Tucker's done a lot in this game. It didn't help him out right there. Pitched that ball, and immediately there are 4 unblocked Yellow Jackets. Just waiting on, looking like murder hornets, not just Yellow Jackets. So a 3rd down and 5 now.
Brings up a 3rd down and 5.
Big 3rd down and 5.
DeVito. Johnson stretching for the catch, but short of the line to gain around the 31-yard line of the Orange. Wesley Walker back there defensively.
You know, and just like we talk about defensively, hey, where am I on the field? Where is that marker? Where's the line I need to get to? Defensive backs have to know that where they're trying to break off those routes. Hey, you can make that all day, but you got to offensively, you got to know, Nykeem Johnson, where am I going to cut that route off? A nice throw and a nice snag, but all for naught because it's a couple yards shy.
Cooney punts it. Hazard watches it hit at the 30 and able to cover it. So Georgia Tech will have the football when we come back after the 41-yard punt and covered by the Yellow Jackets. Let's catch our breath from the Syracuse University campus. This is ACC college football. These Big Bowl moments brought to you by Bojangles.
Well, some of the big moments coming from the pressure of Tony White's defense. A couple interceptions, thanks in large part to the pressure of the young quarterback, Jeff Sims. There's another one with pressure that's overthrown and intercepted by Hannah. Big Bo. It's Bo time defensively. Bo time once again. Can they get another one of those big turnovers here with 12:34 left in the ball game, leading by 10.
First down for Georgia Tech.
Everything's got to move forward. Everything's got to move forward. You can't afford a big sack, especially a turnover, but a penalty. Got to keep that momentum going, and defensively you got to do just that. Stone them right at the line of scrimmage time and time again. Great job defensively.
That's Griffin on the carry. He had a 2-yard touchdown run in the 3rd quarter for Georgia Tech for the sophomore. Richards on the play for Syracuse.
You know, you throw that name and Tyrell Richards into the mix, and here's another Yellow Jacket that's down. Already without a lot of his key players. Jeff Collins on offense, the tight ends, J.P. Mason. Look now the right side of your screen, and that, I guess that's right there, big Mikey Minahan, a junior from Honolulu, St. Louis High School. So many greats have come off out of that program. that whole island, really. Kahuku, the Red Raiders, Robert Anai, one of the more famous Kahuku Red Raiders, the offensive coordinator at Virginia. His Cavaliers are getting ready to go today, finally.
And James, just a moment. Now we have a message from Works Landroid.
Works Landroid Robotic Lawnmower. Available at mylandroid.com. The future of lawn care is here.
Good to see Minahan walk to the sideline for Georgia Tech, trailing by 10 in the fourth.
Did you see that Landroid avoid that soccer ball? That was a good cut.
It's good to see Minahan up and on that sideline. And Jeff Collins told us he wanted bigger players this year, and a lot of his athletes obliged and came back in great condition. Sims pass is complete. Coco.
Well, you keep it up with the block and you'll get the rock. They finally slipped Coco out of the backfield. Mentioned those injuries. Two of those are unavailable players are the tight end, and Coco's done a good job of filling in there. Here's a 3rd down and 2.
Not going to get it. Well short. Perhaps a loss on the play for Smith.
That hadn't been the case. 3rd and short situations here as of late. Georgia Tech had Syracuse's number. The Big Bear, McKinley Williams and company, shutting it down. There he is from Dillard High School down in Fort Lauderdale area. Dillard used to have a big pipeline to Auburn. Everybody from Dillard High School used to always go to Auburn.
Zero, James, a legal number in college football this season. Johnson backtracks inside the 10 and makes the fair catch successfully. 54 yards on the punt from Harvard. Timeout on the field, 11:07 to go in the fourth, and the Orange leading the Yellow Jackets 30-20 inside the Dome in Syracuse, New York. And coming up at 6 o'clock on most of these ACC network stations, Texas State travels to Chestnut Hill to take on Boston College. Evan Leffler, Charles Arbuckle, and Abby Labar getting set to bring you all the action. Check your local listings for the first ever meeting between those two programs. Last ACC opponent for Texas State. Back in 2015, they lost to Florida State. They'll dabble in the ACC as they take on Boston College. 1-0 after its win at Duke a week ago for first-year head coach Jeff Hafley.
They are from Texas, right? Texas State? Are we sure of that? Because Jacksonville State, you know, they're not from Jacksonville, Florida. They're from Alabama. We got them next week. They're in Tallahassee. Just check it.
Up the middle with Tucker.
Tucker runs hard. He runs with that low pad level and that power, and so you hit him, and he's going to fall forward for another 1 or 2. Very rarely will you see this guy getting stopped for a no-gainer or a negative play, which is huge. Hey, nothing there? Get me 2. Get me 3. Just don't go backwards.
They'll run it again up the middle. Short gain. James, just to put your mind at ease, Texas State University, San Marcos, Texas.
Okay. I think that would be like the hill country, as they call it. Beautiful, beautiful part of Texas.
Great work by our support staff up here in the booth.
Yeah. Well, and speaking of Texas, and you know, down there near San Marcos, they have a lot of great barbecue. Sterling Gilbert, offensive coordinator for Syracuse, is not interested about smoking meat right now. He's just interested about smoking this 3rd down, but he's a big barbecue guy.
DeVito spun away. A flag came out. And Georgia Tech has appeared to stop the Orange on 3rd down. There are a couple of penalty flags on the field, and we'll sort those out. Jordan Dominic was in on the play for Georgia Tech, and the indication early is that it's against the Orange. Referee Mike Roach. Syracuse 3-1 in home openers under Coach Babers. And they've won 6 of their last 7.
There are 2 fouls on the play. Holding offense number 56. Personal foul. Unnecessary roughness on the defense number 39. Those fouls will offset. We'll replay third down.
So here's another look at it. And the 56 is the hole right here. Didn't see at the end. It's Tisdale. He's had a little bit of a rough day when it comes to the penalties here. The junior.
Tommy DeVito's day, James, much improved from a week ago. Just 32 yards passing. He's got 194. Looking to add to it with a deep ball. Deflected away. Taj Harris was the Syracuse receiver, and Zamari Walton defensively for Georgia Tech.
Well, Zamari Walton has had a great day. He had the interception early. Look at him. Stride for stride with the speedster Taj Harris, and able to come back and high point that ball, able to stop. When you get your momentum going that fast, it's hard to come under control and even go up and get a piece of it. Just trying to air it out, see if they could get an easy freebie, but nothing doing. Walton was ready.
Hazard, 30-yard line. Returns it past the 45 and then dropped. Solid field position for Georgia Tech after the 55-yard punt. The return of 16 yards for the Yellow Jackets. This game, 10-point difference and far from over as the freshman Sims leads the offensive unit onto the field. 9:15 to go in the fourth.
Good job by Ezra to put him in a nice, comfortable position. And they take advantage of it here. Chopped away at that lead by the Orange, brought it down to 3. Syracuse answered, though. So that 10-point deficit they're trying to make up.
Sims looks one way, throws the other. Just short of the 40, right near the stick. First down. Sanders.
There you go. You see him shut it down. A nice job. Right there. The chains will move. Here's the pressure.
Sims just barely got that one away.
And that saves him 10 yards. But, man, Jeff Collins, he's holding his breath on that one. That has not ended up good for the Yellow Jackets when the pressure's there and Sims lets it go. 3 interceptions on the day, almost a 4th one. But you live to play this 2nd down and 10 now rather than a 2nd down and probably about 18.
Sims will hand it off. Gibbs. Short gain. Now we've got 3rd down, James, and a huge one. In fact, Georgia Tech has misfired on his last 4 attempts to convert on 3rd down. 6:15 in the game. As the clock rolls with the ball just inside the 40, 3rd and long. Movement on the offensive line. 3 penalty markers on the field.
I think it's going to be on Coco, just reacting to the...
False start. Offense number 34. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
Actually, there were 4 flags on the play.
You're going to see right outside there. Just reacting to the backers walking up in those gaps, showing blitz. So now it's like when you play rock, paper, scissors, and somebody says, okay, here's a rock. Okay, now you know what they're going to do. They're going to do rock. They're going to do rock. So are they going to walk up and blitz again here? Or are they going to walk up this time and back it out? Things going through the head of a young quarterback, Jeff Sims. It's a 3rd down and 13.
Griffin just came into the game as the back to the right of Sims. Sims' pass is intercepted. To Hud Carter. Returns it near the 40, and he laterals the football. This is Trill Williams. He's got a block. Williams down the sideline, and he scores for the Orange. Carter, the lateral to Williams, to the house.
can hear my dad, the defensive coordinator in the family right now. You absolutely can't do that. And they go, yeah, you can if they score. There's the interception by Carter. Again, Syracuse just brings 4. There wasn't a blitz there, so there's extra bodies there in the zone. And there it is. Oh, man, as a defensive coordinator, you're scared to death if you ever see your guys doing that. But it was just too easy and too pretty, especially when it ends up in the hands of number 6. He knows exactly what to do with it.
Return for a touchdown. After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct on the intercepting team, number 13, for pulling his helmet off. That 15-yard penalty will be assessed on the kickoff.
How about 68 yards on the play after we sort out those penalties at the end there?
That's exactly the smile that you got from Tino Papers right there, too.
Trill Williams from Jihad Carter, who made the interception, the 4th of the game for the Orange. Schmidt for the extra point. After the interception, lateral, and touchdown from Williams, James.
All right. Cash money trillionaire, time and time again, into the paint, making it a 17-point lead for the Orange.
Yeah, I think we're good here. Why do we offer so many active safety features?
Trill had the thrill at the end of the season last year in overtime against Wake, and he's on the business end of the lateral from Jihad Carter.
There he is talking to his buddy in street clothes there with his jersey on, Andre Sisco, the All-American, his tag team partner back there. There's the interception by Carter. A wobbler, I don't know that anybody got a hand on it, but a wobbler, and here's Carter doing as much as he can. And going all rugby on us and pitching it back.
I mean, James, you could see Williams. He wanted that football. He demanded that football.
Oh, yeah, believe me, I know.
And he had the entourage to lead him into the end zone.
You know, and a good job, too, by guys like Garrett Williams, which you set it up like that, and it leaves you open for, oh, let me just go and block this guy, and you get it brought back because of a penalty flag because you're behind someone hitting them in the back. Garrett Williams just puts his hands up. He didn't need my help. You know, how many times you say, oh, it wasn't even necessary, this block, and guys don't realize it, and you get a defenseless player. That's not the case there, and they're happy right now on the Orange sideline, up by 17.
By the way, James, Syracuse 114 return yards on their 4 interceptions in the game. Gibbs on the return. There's a flag that just came out. Flag came out on the play. On the return play by Gibbs, there is a penalty flag. And there is a Syracuse player shaken up as well near the 25-yard line, right in the middle of the field. So we have some housekeeping to do here first, and we'll...
Personal foul. Illegal block below the waist. Return team number 28. A penalty been forced half the distance to the goal. First down.
That is Richards who is down, by the way, for the Orange.
There he is, bottom left corner. He just went airborne. And that's where your penalty's coming as well. Looked like that was Blancato, big special teams players. Blancato and Askew, a couple guys stepping in to take the place of the departed Nathan Cottrell. Now with the Jacksonville Jaguars as a special teams player. How about that? Makes the squad just because of his hustle and good play on special teams. But let's just hope that one of the big parts of this defense, Richards, is okay. He was injured against North Carolina, had the sack and the forced fumble against Pitt last week. You know, you look at the Syracuse roster, and there are quite a few Canadians. Richards from Brampton, Ontario. But you know, if I'm not mistaken, that's where Jesse Palmer and Steve Yzerman, the great Detroit Red Wings player, are from Brampton. I may be way off, but I think that's the case. But Tony White, the defensive coordinator, spent a few seasons in the CFL. So talking to him, that's been kind of his recruiting trail, some of these outstanding Canadians. They can play some good football up there now, and hopefully they get that good player back.
Coach Babers also played in the CFL. It's going to be Jordan Yates to go in at quarterback. His pass complete to Camp.
A little sidearm sling there to put it through that window.
So, James, that's the redshirt freshman, Jordan Yates, coming into the game for Jeff Sims after 4 interceptions. Freshman from Alpharetta, Georgia. Number 13 into the game for Georgia Tech, and 2nd and 9. He'll take off, sliding after the sprint up near the 25, although they'll mark him back near the 22. 6 yards on the run by Yates. It's 3rd down.
It's a good spot right there. It's where he begins his slide, not where he ends up. 3rd down and 5, and Syracuse defense, they get the ball back here. They can really put a hurting in the field of Georgia Tech right now in this big comeback effort.
Yates passes behind the receiver Gibbs. 4th down.
Tony White has called an excellent game defensively here so far. Brings the blitz right there. And you see where you're rolling the dice a little bit. You get a guy out there who looks like he's got a guy beat if he gets his hands on it. But ball gets to the turf. There he is. What's he got here for 4th down and 5? What could maybe mean the ball game right here.
1 for 1 in the game on 4th down. They've missed on 3rd down 6 times in a row. And the offensive line moves.
False start. Offense number 54. It's a 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
You know, it always happens. And usually it's because of the crowd. There you see them up top. These offensive linemen. You always can expect when you come up here at least 4 of those every game. And we've had about 4 in this game, and there are no fans in the stands. Just the artificial noise is being pumped in. Well, whatever it is, it's working right now, and it's a 4th and 10.
New quarterback just into the game on this series, Yates for Georgia Tech. He's pressured, and Yates will be toppled and taken down. Did the ball come out? At the end of the play, it's still rolling around on the turf. And either way, Syracuse has taken over possession because that was 4th down. Linton for Syracuse trying to knock that one away. Tony Roscoe, Roscoe's all over the quarterback.
Quinlan's going to end up falling on it, but like you said, it won't matter. It's a turnover on downs and a big stop here by a Syracuse defense that has really played well throughout this season. And they're only getting better. Hopefully they get a couple of those bodies back that look to be banged up a little bit. And so now it's 1st and goal for that offense with 6:45 left to play in the ball game. But how about these names at the linebacker spot? Thompson, Linton, Canton Arku, Jones, Richards.
Pretty good name at the running back spot for Syracuse as well, and the freshman Sean Tucker. Couple of TD runs. Near the end of the 3rd quarter, James, Georgia Tech had closed the gap to just 3. Late touchdown by the Orange in that quarter, and then the Carter lateral to Trill Williams for 6.
Well, what was it? 3 plays later that the Orange came back and answered, and was that after the Nykeem Johnson kickoff return? So, you know, that 3rd phase of the game that Georgia Tech has really done a good job on coming into this weekend. That bites you. You start your offensive possession across midfield.
2nd and goal. Tucker bashes his way. And a flag came out at the end of the play. Matthew Bergeron, number 60 for the Orange, went flying.
It looked like Josh Black doing that flip off the wall that Lindsay was telling us about earlier.
Orange trying to beat the Yellow Jackets for the first time in the series history, which only includes 3 meetings prior to today. Met in 01, 04, and 2013 all wins for Georgia Tech. 04 was the Champ Sports Bowl in Orlando, 51-14 Georgia Tech. Today, though, the score in favor of the Orange as Jeff Collins brought his squad to New York State.
There is no foul on the play. It'll be third down.
Tell that to Matt Bergeron with his back roll. I mean, I did all that for nothing?
3rd and goal. Just over 6 minutes to go in the 4th quarter. To the goal line and stretching towards it and in for the score. Mackenzie Pierre, touchdown Orange.
Now here's another look. He's going to slip right through and meets him right there in the hole, stepping up the safety, Jalen King. Well, he didn't bring enough wood right there, though, and making him pay. A guy in Pierre that's had to sit over on the bench and watch Sean Tucker go wild throughout the day.
On the field is a touchdown. The previous play is under further review.
So you must have indisputable video evidence to overturn the call, which on the field is touchdown for Mackenzie Pierre, the junior from Orlando, Florida.
Boom. Just runs right through one, and, well, maybe he's not quite in.
Yeah, it looks like the 1 yard line as that right knee touches. He did bash his way through Jalen King, though, number 14 for Georgia Tech, attempting to make the stop. Quez Jackson had him wrapped up, and the knee went down near the 1. So this may provide the necessary visual, indisputable video evidence to overturn this call.
Put him back in. Give it to 22 one more time. He wanted it.
Now that was a 3rd and goal play, right, James?
Yeah,
so,
yeah, I guess you're right. And
let's see what they want to do here.
Yeah, now you get into a situation where one more look at it, and it's a good call. Got a good look at it. Not always that fortunate to have a nice clean look, but it's nice and quick.
After further review, the runner's right knee hits the ground with the ball in his possession at the 1 yard line. It'll be 4th down and 1. The game clock will start on my signal.
So it is 4th down as they overturn that call. Originally they had Pierre in the end zone for the score for the Orange.
This is a tough one as a head coach. You know, 4th and 1, you got this game in the bag. You're sitting right there. One good pop and it's in. It's easier that way, it seems, but you don't want to add too much salt to that wound. But the head ball coach would go for it, that's for sure.
James, you never know. In 2020, you just don't know. Inside of 6 minutes to go. And DeVito's out there with the offense. Pierre is to the right of DeVito. From the 1 yard line on 4th and goal. Pierre comes up short. Now, James, even though they don't score, as David Curry makes the tackle for Georgia Tech, you still have 99 yards in front of you as you take over 1st and 10.
Yeah, but, you know, Dumb and Dumber, you're telling me there's a chance. It's better to be down 17 when you're trying to make a miracle comeback than 24. or even 20 for that matter. So you're right, a long way to go, and it looks like it'll be, is it Yates in there, quarterback again?
Second series for Yates on in relief of Sims. 4 interceptions by the Orange. And this is without Andre Sisco available, as he ran into a teammate in pregame warmups and could not wear the pads today for the Orange.
Carried by number 22,
Andre Sisco, a guy with 13 career interceptions, the leader among active players in the Football Bowl subdivision. His teammates have picked up the slack.
That must have hurt to sit on the sidelines and watch his teammates have so much fun today. And not that you're selfish or jealous. You just want to be a part of the fun. Have a good time. Start 0-2.
Yates throwing on the run. Sanders. That was a 2nd and 8 play, and now 3rd down. Georgia Tech up against it once again.
There's Andre Sisco. Out of the IMG Academy down in Florida, like young linebacker Michael Jones.
Led the conference last year with 5 interceptions. Smiling now, his defense trying to hold on 3rd down. Georgia Tech trying to convert. They have struggled recently on 3rd down. Yates pass. It's going to be awfully close to Coco. It's good enough. Good enough. Chains are greased and moving. Freshman Sims on the sideline.
Ineligible downfield on the pass. Offense, number 12. After distance to the goal, 3rd down.
Everybody is lined up for a 1st down play, so we've got to reset those chains.
Well, and there has just been way too much of this here in this game today. I'm trying to, because we don't have our stats out here with the COVID protocol, and pull it up on my phone and see just how many.
What a huge penalty there. Wow.
I believe that's 15 now on Georgia Tech to only 6 for Syracuse.
Yates is in his own end zone. Has to get out of the pocket. He got rid of the football and incomplete. He was in some serious trouble. That was Zach Morton.
And I thought he was going down here and able to get it in the vicinity of his guy right there. So no flag thrown, no safety, and here they'll punt it away.
Johnson returns it inside the 30. And while we have a moment, let's get a message from Bojangles.
Feed the whole family with a big Bo box. It's Bo time.
So James, way back in 1980, the first game in this building, September 20th, a win against Miami of Ohio, 36-24. And in this grand reopening of this facility, Syracuse also trying to get a victory under the new scoreboard and new roof on the new turf.
Well, we got a new quarterback.
Add to that Rex Culpepper, exactly.
Hey, yo, Pep, you up next.
He'll hand it off. So Rex Culpepper, the story is well documented, cancer survivor, threw a touchdown pass last week against Pitt, 69 yards to Taj Harris. And just the fact that he's been able to battle back and even get in uniform and on the field is an incredible story.
Man, I love it. Love it. You know, love the family. His dad was an All-American at the University of Florida before an NFL career. And I knew Rex when he was a young crumb snatcher. He and my son Jake used to be good buddies. And just it's so good to see him out there healthy and competing, playing college football. I think his brother Judge is a tight end at Penn State.
And I actually, last weekend, while you were calling a game, went down to a swim meet down in St. Pete. I saw his dad on a billboard. He's a lawyer down there. He was on a billboard.
Sure.
There are his numbers. You mentioned the big hitter to Taj Harris at Pittsburgh. First throw last weekend.
Pierre. Near the 20-yard line. The marker's down in that vicinity as well. So James, after scoring just 16 points combined in their first 2 games, 1 touchdown, the outburst of 37 points as Culpepper is on in relief of DeVito, who threw 2 long TD passes. That's certainly one of the bigger positives to come out of this game for Syracuse, is DeVito being on target from long distance after throwing for just 32 yards a week ago.
Well, and it's not ideal when you've got a guy that has run the show for a couple years now and expected to run the show coming in, and making no bones about it throughout camp and everything in the off season, and then all of a sudden you have the fan base kind of thinking, well, maybe we should play Culpepper. Maybe we should, hey, we got a couple packages for him. Maybe we need to see more of Culpepper. Hey, as much as you love Rex Culpepper and everything that he does for this team as a leader and as a teammate and as a friend and as a player when needed, your guy right now and your guy coming in, you kind of need it to be Tommy DeVito. You needed that out of him for him to get his pitch back and get into a rhythm. So that's great to see.
Ball was on the turf for a moment, scooped up by Pierre as the clock continues to roll. So Syracuse closing in on its first win of the season after the losses to North Carolina and Pitt, and they will open up the refurbished dome with a win.
Hey, just over a minute. Do you care if I go? I want to beat the crowd. There's this one security guard that drives really slow.
Yep, you've heard plenty of crowd noise during the course of the game.
I know it. I know.
Look at DeVito. 194 today, James, as I mentioned, just 32 yards passing a week ago against the Panthers. Pierre bulldozing his way at the 15. A couple of TDs for DeVito, the 1 interception. He was 13 of 24, and now we get flags come out at the end of this play with just 39 seconds on the clock.
So both of these teams here, Tom, have a week off. Next up for Dino Babers, it'll be Coach Cutt and the Duke Blue Devils coming to town.
Right, beat them last year 49-6. Then they've got Liberty after that, a team they also defeated a season ago, as they went 5-7 and 2-6 in conference play for the Orange under Coach Babers, including the thrilling win in overtime against Wake that we had the privilege of calling at the end of last year.
Yeah, but my man, look at this schedule for Georgia Tech after their break. Louisville comes to town, Clemson, then they go up to Boston, play Boston College, who looked really good in week 1.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, offense number 18. That's his first unsportsmanlike foul of the game. It's a 15-yard penalty. Because the game clock was running, it was under a minute. The penalty is also subject to a 10-second runoff. Georgia Tech has declined that runoff.
All right, so you got Louisville, Clemson, at Boston College, still going, Notre Dame, Pittsburgh, at Miami, then Duke, and at NC State. We talked about Syracuse needing a big win here today. So Georgia Tech needed to go into that break 2-1 as well.
Yeah, today a confidence builder for DeVito. Hadn't thrown a TD pass in his last 3 games, and then he threw 2 today. This is going to be the first win for the Orange in the series. Again, it's a small sample size of just 4 games. But the first 3 went the way of Georgia Tech. Not this time for Dino Babers. He's going to take the victory and improve to 16-10 inside the dome as the head coach of the Orange in his 5th year on the sidelines for the Cuse. Jeff Collins' teams drops to 1-2. And 1-1 on the road. They defeated Florida State the first week of the season at FSU. That'll be our destination next week, James Bates.
Warming up for that one.
Yep. Jacksonville State, the opponent. DeVito and Culpepper can celebrate a victory with their teammates. Final seconds of the fourth quarter. Tommy DeVito with those 2 TD passes to Harris in the second quarter, Johnson in the third quarter. That was 43 yards. The one to Harris was 47 yards. And the final will be 37-20. Dino Babers and the Orange winners inside the Carrier Dome. First win of the season in the home opener.
So that's what they do now, huh? They wave.
So James, once again, the final 37-20 Orange. Tune in later as more ACC football comes your way. Texas State takes on Boston College. Check your local listings. That game in Chestnut Hill, Massachusetts, the Eagles and the Bobcats. For James Bates, Lindsey Rowley, and the rest of our production team, I'm Tom Wormy saying good day from Syracuse in the Carrier Dome. The Orange winners for the first time in the all-time series against Georgia Tech. 37-20, our final count.